We will start with all the anime chat, I suppose. We'll do anime and then either manga or random things first before manga. I feel like manga's the most spoilerific things that
Yeah,
should be
dude,
less to laugh.
yeah,
Last.
we'll leave that in its little containment zone at the end. I feel like I've been watching a lot of anime and a lot of other TV shows, many of which were fucking terrible. So I've got a lot of fun things we can rag on to act as a buffer between the delicate anime flowers and the hardcore manga masters.
Right, yeah.
We don't cross the streams.
Um, Go on then. Maybe start off with some of this rubbish you've been watching.
Well, basically, I'm very easily led. So I push my Fire Stick, it turns my TV on, and then Amazon's like, "Here's watch our 5 new shows." And I saw one that was this spy drama called Citadel. I was like, "Well, that's kind of a decent name." I've heard they threw buttloads of cash into it. I like Richard Madden, who most people remember as Robb Stark from Game of Thrones, and I like Priyanka Chopra because she's fit. So I was like, that's and what's he called? The other guy who always just plays the weird guy that controls the spies in all these spy shows was also in there. Stanley Tucci was there playing the same character plays in everything. These are all good things, so I'll start watching it. I swear, if that wasn't written by ChatGPT, I don't know who. Like, there's no way a human being wrote that show. It was. I watched the whole fucking thing for reasons I'm not entirely sure of, but it was just like the most generic fucking by the book thriller with literally zero thrills I've ever seen. It was the dumbest shit. And yeah, like apparently not only is it getting a second season, they're spinning off a whole, they're calling it the Citadel verse because they have no imagination as evidenced by Citadel.
Hmm.
Like there's apparently there's spin-offs coming and like this is already guaranteed a second season. It's like I don't understand how like Sandman had to really fight and push to get a second season. And all these
Yeah.
great shows are cancelled after 1 or 2 seasons. And just absolute trash like that and the Shite Agent get like guaranteed second seasons. I don't understand what's going on. But yeah, then to kind of cleanse the palate from that, I watched the first season of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which
Oh,
eh,
yeah.
it was all right. I really liked her cousin, the sarcastic warlock who's under house arrest. He was great. And Michelle Gomez is the best thing about anything Michelle Gomez is in. So she was great.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just a very, very bland show.
When I heard
Like,
they was making a new Sabrina, I was like, oh yeah, that'd be really great. I'll watch that. I love Sabrina. And then when there was like, oh, it's gonna be like dark and like, I was like, I actually have no interest in that. So I never watched it because I liked how Sabrina was like just a fun
mm.
show about.
Well, apparently this is closer to the original comics
Yeah,
than the sort of the Melissa Joan Hart era was.
I'm
But
just not really into it.
yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised it got to 4 seasons. I'm not surprised it didn't get any further.
Um, Talking about like the sci-fi, um, and then I'll come back to Sabrina the Teenage Witch was on like CW, wasn't it, with all the other trash.
Yeah, it's 'cause it's directly tied to Riverdale, which
Right, okay.
apparently was actually quite good, but
Huh.
I can't be asked. I heard the first season was a bit and then after that they were like, "Fuck it, let's just stop giving a damn," and it became quite good.
There's a show called Silo.
Yeah,
Is
so
that
like
something coming out? It's not
yeah,
out yet.
I don't know because I'm pretty sure I saw a thing about how it's already been renewed for a second season.
Okay.
So I think it might have just wrapped, or I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a streaming show because I mean, who watches actual TV these days? So it's very possible that they just dropped all the episodes at once,
I think
and
it's
then
on Apple TV.
yeah, which
Yeah.
I just kind of refuse to watch.
Yeah, we got like a free trial of it, but I don't think we'll continue to pay for it after.
That's what
Um,
everyone I know who's tried it has said. Like, there's a few decent shows, but it's just not worth
Having
having.
another streaming
Yeah,
subscription, yeah.
there's not enough content on there. You just like subscribe for a month every 6 months, watch the latest season of all the good things, and then fuck off.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, apparently people are looking forward to it, or it is quite good. I can't remember.
Yeah,
what I've heard specifically. But yeah.
I recall the lead actress whose name I'm currently blanking on.
Uh, Ferguson, something.
Yes, Sarah Ferguson.
Yeah,
She's generally like I
pretty good.
can't think of any time she's been like a detriment to the show she's in. She's
Yeah,
usually pretty solid. So like I can see that just having her, I assume, spending a lot of time in a silo. Gonna take a wild guess and say post-apocalyptic sci-fi where a bunch of people are now living in a silo.
I feel like it's the same storyline. You know, like in 10 Cloverfield Lane, where the people who are inside are like, don't go outside, bad shit's outside there. But the people inside don't really trust those people that are leading it. This is what I got from the
Yeah,
trailer that I wasn't fully paying attention to. But then she
goes
and
outside.
I would imagine a group of others get out and, I don't know, discover the world's not as bad or that it's shittier. That, I don't know. It's always
I'm
mystery.
trying to think which would be better for storyline purposes if they get out and everything's actually just fine and normal, or if they get out and everything's a Lovecraftian hellscape.
Well, this is the thing with 10. Have you watched 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Yes.
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
Wacky film.
Spoilers. The turnaround in that story is that he's right. The outside world is shitty,
Yeah.
but he turns out to be like a psychopath. So you definitely don't want to be in there with him either. So it's like, whereas
Bit of a
if
catch 22. Yeah.
if he was actually legit a good person and you had escaped and found yourself in a shitty alien riddled world, and you're like, damn, I should have just stayed in that bunker with that
Yeah.
with John Goodman because
How freaking good was he in that film, though?
so good.
Holy shit. Like, he is a terrifying dude.
I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead as well. She's good.
Oh, yeah, she's great in everything. She was like, I did hear, cause, yeah, they're doing a Scott Pilgrim anime,
Yeah,
but they've got all
all
the
the
original voice
voices.
cast back. That's going to be so good.
Yeah, I'm looking
So,
forward to that one.
you know who's doing that?
Netflix.
Boo.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I utilize my mother's Netflix account, which is based in Australia, and apparently they've just started getting the things saying, "Is this your?" It's like your home account. Is this where everyone? So, as in, if anyone's not watching from their location, screen sharing is dead. So yeah, I may not have Netflix within a month or so, or I'll just have to get my own Netflix. But
What was it?
yeah,
I saw a thing of, and it was like, oh, it was like a post from Blockbuster saying,
yeah,
"When you rented from us, we let you share your movies with your friends, family, whoever. We didn't care as long as you returned it on time."
yeah,
Like,
quality burn. I think Prime actually said something similar.
it's just kind of, I don't know.
It was a picture of like the who's watching, and it was like we don't care who's watching as long as you enjoy it. It's like
I just feel
that's fine.
like overall as a company, you're going to make more money from valued customers who do happen to share it with
Yeah,
a few households, right? Um, because there's a limit. No one's sharing it with more than like, Netflix only has 4 accounts and you can only have like 3 viewers at a time or whatever. So if you want to actually be able to go on and see it and not have to message someone and be like, oh, can you get off my Netflix because I'm the one paying and I actually want to watch something right now. You're not sharing it. I don't know, because making it not shareable, I don't think all of those individual people that we're sharing are going to then subscribe under their own things. You're
exactly.
not going to make that money back. People
No,
aren't going to do it. Or they're going to do the thing where they wait until a good show like Stranger Things or whatever comes on, subscribe for a month, and then delete their subscription.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
think their train of thought is okay. If there's three people sharing one account, if we stop them sharing it, we'll get three accounts. No, you won't. You'll get one person with an account and two people that don't watch Netflix anymore.
yeah, exactly.
Like it's not one or three, it's one or probably none. Because I know some people who currently have accounts, but who are canceling them because screen sharing is bullshit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't understand why they've done this, considering love is sharing an account is one of their fucking advertising slogans. But whatever. Yeah, I think they should stop canceling good shows. That's the best way to get their accounts back up. Yeah, like I will definitely find a way to either resubscribe or just steal it to watch Sandman season 2. And I do kind of want to watch the One Piece live action just because I think it might be a disaster, but I think it'll be an entertaining disaster. And that's what I want.
An entertaining disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to enjoy that. whether it's good or bad.
I'll
Um,
either enjoy it or I'll enjoy it spitefully, but I will definitely enjoy it.
and then I was
As
gonna.
long as it's not like live action Death Note bad, I'll be fine. Because that was awful. Or fucking Dragon Ball Evolution.
You can watch that now in jest.
Can you?
It's quite funny to just put it on and laugh. Um, yeah.
Bearing in mind, I don't particularly like the good Dragon Ball, so bad Dragon Ball is even worse.
And I was going to mention all of the CW stuff because, like, Flash is coming just as an update on the things that nobody watches anymore. Flash is actually
Finished.
finished.
Yeah.
Um, and all I see, because I still follow Misha Collins online, who played like Castiel, who's in that
Gotham
Gotham
Knights.
Knights. Yeah, it was just like petitioning and putting loads of posts up about like saving it or whatever. So that's
Yeah.
getting cancelled, or I don't know if that's to do
Apparently,
with the writing strikes and stuff,
no, it's to
or
do with the fact that it's terrible.
it's terrible.
Apparently, there's only two. Like the CW verse is officially dead. Like
Yeah,
Supergirl is finished, Arrow's finished, Flash is finished, Legends is finished, Black Lightning's finished. Those are all done. That was their whole universe. Then there's two shows left that are kind of tangentially connected, that are Gotham Knights and Superman and Lois.
right.
And basically, the rumor was initially that one of them was going to get cancelled and the other one would then be allowed to run for at least one more season and see if it picks up. So both casts were pushing for their show to succeed. And then apparently they were like, yeah, or maybe we'll just cancel you both because you rallied the troops. And no one replied. So clearly there's not a huge audience for either of your shows.
Yeah.
Which actually I'm a little sad about because despite not liking Superman at all, I actually really liked Superman and Lois. I thought it was a solid show. The first two seasons are really good. And apparently the third season is just as strong. So, I mean, I would happily watch more of that, even though their version of Lois Lane is just Wish.com Jessica Jones. Like even down to the way she dresses is quite sad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I had a I did a meme where I had pictures of the pair of them next to each other, and it was like they are wearing literally the same outfit, but the lady playing Lois, Bitsy, is not as good an actress, less attractive, and the outfit like just looks cheaper. So it's very sad.
No. Um, I guess we'll talk about this before. I'll throw this in. What movies?
Oh
That's
yes,
kind of TV covered from like
close
I'm
enough.
not watching anything new. But movies, I did go to see the Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Woo. I will be seeing that on not the Saturday coming, but the Saturday after.
So in a non-spoilerific way, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It
I've heard
was
many people say it's the best of the trilogy. Can you confirm?
um I haven't seen the first one in such a long time, but I know that I really liked the first one and I didn't enjoy the second one at all. I saw it at cinema and I haven't watched it since. Because I just felt it was a non-movie where it's like, oh, hey, we're gonna meet your dad. Oh, your dad's a dick. Your dad's dead now, and it's just like that didn't really need to happen at all. Like it was just to introduce a character that now nobody remembers or needs to really know about of grave importance. We gained a sister, and then
I think
that's about
it was
it.
more about A, introducing Mantis and
Yeah,
ruining her character completely, and B, explaining how Peter was able to tank the Power Stone at the
yeah.
end of the first film.
I feel like
But
it
yeah,
could have
it didn't
been.
really be a whole film.
Yeah, if it was in the era of Disney Plus, it could have been handled in like a little short. The way they did the Christmas. Did you watch the Christmas episode? Like the Christmas
Yeah, I
special?
thought that was really funny.
Yeah,
And the
because
song's catchy as fuck.
yeah, Kevin Bacon, what's not to love,
Yeah.
and we got to like you found out that Mantis was like his sister because they don't like yeah, they're just assuming that when you go to cinema, you watch that special. They
Oh, so is that kind of do we need to have seen that to watch three?
don't need to, but it's really just that bit of information that they don't like recover for you in depth. Um, but you'd just be like, oh, okay, like if you hadn't watched it. But yeah, the first one I feel is like more fun.
The first one is just
Um,
Farscape. I'm sorry, I will die on this hill.
It's like it's a what is it? It's a prison escape movie, and then a dance off. I don't know. It's just wacky, and you first meeting these characters. So like Drax and that I find quite funny, and then in like the second film, I found Drax just like really just grated against me, and I was just like, this dude, it's just ugh, I don't find it funny. I didn't find it funny. I felt like the second movie was trying too hard to be funny. That it just annoyed me. Whereas this third one, I found more naturally just funny. Like it wasn't trying too hard. And it was quite a chill movie across the board. Like I felt like, oh, I'm not being forced into this like laugh at us, we're being funny kind of thing. Yeah.
Good, good.
um. So yes, enjoy that. It was good, and I really liked the English fella whose name I don't actually know who plays Adam Warlock.
Oh, Will Poulter.
Will Poulter. Yeah, he's good.
He is good. Yeah, he's been an underrated actor because he's a really good actor, but he sort of looks like something you'd find at the beach under a rock.
Oh,
So he doesn't get as many roles as his acting ability deserves.
oh, I thought that people find him quite nice.
That's a plus. That's just the Marvel effect. But no, like years back, he was in a film called Wild Bill that is absolutely fucking fantastic, and everyone needs to see it. He was like he was a young kid, and it's about his dad is in prison and
Mm.
gets out. And he used to be like a football hooligan, and he's trying to like it's basically the English version of American History X.
Oh,
Like
okay.
football hooligan gets out of prison, realizes that he's been a twat his entire kind of young adult life, sees his son going down a similar path, and tries to get themselves back on track. But it's
Hmm.
just it's a very very directed by Dexter Fletcher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Hmm.
he's a that's why I'm very. Well, it seems to have disappeared, but a while back they were saying they were going to do a third Sherlock film, like the Robert Downey Jr.
Oh,
Sherlock,
okay, yeah.
and Dexter Fletcher was going to be writing and directing.
Oh, really? Yeah,
And
because the
I
first
was
two are
really
Guy
excited for
Ritchie,
them
and they
because he wanted to step away to do other films
garbage
with
films.
about a 50% success rate. So apparently Dexter Fletcher stepped in to kind of wrap it up. But I don't know what happened. And maybe it was the Rona, maybe it was
Mm.
the fact that no one really gives a shit about Sherlock anymore. But yeah, it seems to have vanished, which is quite sad because I was actually quite looking forward to that.
Yeah, I did. I remember not enjoying the second Sherlock as much as the first one, but I
It
would have
was
watched a third one. Like if they make
I
another
thought
Sherlock, I'll watch it.
for sure. I thought the guy playing Moriarty in the second Sherlock film was fucking amazing.
Yeah, he's great. He's kind of had a rise to kind of fame the last few years.
Yeah, he was in
We
The
did
Expanse,
the
which
oh
I've
yeah,
tried to watch so many times and just can't get through, which is sad.
yeah
Like
again.
everyone I know says it's one of the greatest sci-fi shows released in the past decade. And I'm like, but is it though?
Is
Because
it
it's
though?
actually not that good. I've tried watching it 3 times and I can't get past like the halfway mark, which is pretty bad.
Um, you know,
Sit through shit and I couldn't get through it.
that's the only thing I've seen at cinema. But things that I'm excited about that are coming out. Not The Little Mermaid, which is out right now. What I am excited about is the Barbie movie, but that's not out until like July, and also Spider Man, obviously Into the Spider Verse.
Well, I think I'm on the day I'm going to see Guardians. We're going to go see Guardians and then we're going to go straight to Spider Verse afterwards.
That's gonna be a great day.
It's going to be a cracking
Is
day.
that in IMAX?
Sadly, no, we're poor, so it's going to go into just the normal, not quite the cinema near me, the one a little bit further. Because if you're going to watch 2 films in a day at IMAX, you're going to get a migraine.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't do the 3D, but like at our local cinema, they've got like an IMAX screen, so it's
Well, yeah,
not
my local
an
cinema is
IMAX cinema.
apparently an IMAX, but like I've been to it a few times and it just seems to be the same screen size as everywhere else. So I think they're lying to me.
They're liars. I think the best thing about the IMAX screen is the sound. Actually, they've got much better sound. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's like pretty good.
Yeah, so I went to see. Actually, maybe that's the problem. The last film I went to see on the IMAX was Multiverse of Madness. So maybe it's not that the screen actually wasn't as
It was the
impressive.
movie.
It was, yeah, maybe it was just the fact the movie was fucking terrible. Mm. But yeah, I maintain that Guardians of the Galaxy has just been going downhill since they stopped just ripping off Farscape. Farscape is like even James Gunn says that he owes a lot of the success of Guardians of the Galaxy to Farscape. That's why he cast the lead actor from Farscape in the second Guardians film.
I didn't realize the one in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and 2, but his second name is Gunn. Is this James Gunn's brother? Or
Yeah,
they just happen to, they are brothers. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
The guy
quite
that plays
good.
Scraglin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
Sean.
realize. Sean Gunn, yeah. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, him and the guy that plays Yondu, whose name I'm blanking on currently. Like James Gunn just
Michael no.
uh, yeah, Michael Rooker.
Rooker. I had Rourke in my head and I'm like, no, that is a different person.
That's Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, also Michael Rourke, just not the one with it. Yeah, I've forgotten his name again now.
Michael
Rooker.
Rooker.
Yeah,
Rooker.
Michael Rooker. Get Gunn just puts him in everything, and then Sean Gunn in everything.
Yeah, that was my favorite part about the Suicide Squad film because did you watch that? Yeah,
Yeah,
because he was just like in the beginning and it was making it out like he's the main character and he's the leader of this squad, and then yeah, that was brilliant.
no, yeah,
But he'll forever be just the guy from Mallrats.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. But no, all right. It's a bit of a. I think we may have discussed this already. I can't remember if it was on the stream or just as a general topic of conversation. But you know how there are certain directors that just have those actors they always go back to. Like James Gunn always casts his brother, always casts Rooker. Kevin Smith just makes whole films so he can play with his friends. Tarantino kind of tends to bring back similar people. Joss Whedon obviously has
hmm
5 cast members. If you could be like a stable actor for one director, who would you want to work with all the time?
I think in my younger years, I would have said Tim Burton straight away. Like, but that there's been quite a few Tim Burton films that I haven't been majorly on board with in the recent years. But yeah, when I was younger, it would have been like hands down like Tim Burton was like my favorite. Um, probably at least now, like if I was to get into acting, the director that I'd most want to be in a film with, like now, would be Zach Braff because he's just my favorite, and he just makes chill, kind of cool, real lifey, understated movies that I like.
Solid pick. Yeah, he does good work.
What about
Uh,
you?
for me, it would have to be Flanagan, freaking Mike Flanagan. Like he does. I love all the shows he makes, and he's about to do a Dark Tower series. So if
Oh
I could
yeah.
just be like in one of the recurring characters in all his shows, I would be absolutely down for that.
What if he was
Even
a director? Who would be your go-to actor or actress for like the lead in your films?
I mean, for entirely terrible reasons, I would obviously want to cast Amber Rose Reva in a lot of things.
I like Florence Pugh a lot right now,
She's good.
but
Speaking
everybody
of,
likes her.
another fucking terrible show I watched was called, I want to say Last Light, but I may have forgotten that because the show was so forgettable. But it was Matthew Fox, aka Jack from
Yeah.
Lost, and Amber Rose Reva, aka my future wife. And it's like, oh, like sci-fi dystopian drama. Fuck yeah, two good actors, good setup, hit play. Awful, awful, awful show. It was set. It was current day, not sci-fi or dystopian at all. But one day, all the petrol in the world goes off. Like some biological agent is added to petrol that makes all the petrol just stop working, and it turns out that it's something that uh, fucking Matthew Fox created in college
Oh.
with his friend who was what's he called, the assassin guy from Game of Thrones, the foreign one that teaches Arya everything. They went to college together and created a bug that eats petrol and turns it into not petrol, and that ruined the world. And it was like 6 episodes of them trying to stop it, and then they didn't, and no one gave a believable performance in the whole show.
All these people in their electric cars, just like ah.
They completely ignore the fact that electric cars are a thing. Everyone's like, oh no, nothing works anymore. Even though everyone has iPhones that apparently don't run out of charge, even though iPhones always run out of charge. Like, oh, there are no cars anymore, even though EVs exist and are actually quite popular. Like, there's no one driving a fucking, not a Tesla, what are they called? A fucking
I
Prius.
Yeah, Prius. That's it.
Like, they're fucking
Sounds like.
everywhere. Like, oh no, we can't travel anywhere. Let's just call Uber because every cunt on Uber drives a Prius, and you fill them up maybe once a week. It's just dumb, 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 stupid, dumb show. and you could tell that no one in the show gave a shit about their performance, except for uh, your man from Game of Thrones, who also plays the prison guard in the last season of Stranger Things, and you've seen somewhere recently. Like
Ah,
he
okay.
seemed to really be committed to his role, mostly because a lot of his screen time involved kicking the shit out of Matthew Fox, which must be quite satisfying. Yeah, awful show.
Mm.
Having flashbacks to how bad that show was.
I don't think I've seen anything like super, super like bad. I just genuinely try to not watch that stuff. But what I do is like I go to like Sean's parents or I go to my mum's and they look through Netflix and they go, "This looks good," and I go, "No, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Look at the picture. Look at the trailer. It looks terrible." Yet they're like, "Oh, this looks good." I'm like, "No, we're not watching that." You can just tell. You can tell when it's gonna be
Yeah.
shite, and then they watch it anyway. It's like, yeah, I told you. Oh, we watched this like Viking movie last time we was at the in-laws. Yeah, and it was
I
like
think.
what it was called. I have no idea, but it was this main dude, and it was all about kings. It
Oh,
might have
was
been
it
called Seven
Seven Kings
Kings.
Must Die?
Yeah, that's it.
You realize that's a film that's meant to be the capstone for a whole series.
Oh, okay. That's strange.
Yeah, it's the
Um.
Last Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, trying to follow this film was difficult because of all the different kings and everything that was going down. It's very political, very like, oh, we're gonna do this and do that, and trying to. But the end battle was great. The end
Okay.
battle, and I'm mostly just sitting there thinking, man, this must have taken weeks to film because you've literally got hundreds of guys on a field, like
Uh,
all doing battle stuff. And
Or was it all CGI?
no, it was totally real. Yeah, I don't know. I
No.
mean, it looked good. It might have only been 10 guys, and then everybody else was CGI, but yeah, it looked great. So I enjoyed that. Up until then, I was basically sleeping, but
Yeah,
the end fight was good. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that film is meant to be like a sort of sequel slash conclusion for like a long running TV series. That's probably why it was so confusing because a lot of the build up was in the show.
There you go. Another reason why they
Can't
just
deny that though, so I can't. I'm not entirely sure of that, but
pick terrible films for us to watch.
a little bit, yeah.
Um, and then I spent a lot of time on Sunday talking with my friend about the Saw series. And in talking about the Saw series and about all the things that we liked about it, I'm like, well, I need to watch those again. Because I didn't watch the last one. I didn't watch like Jigsaw. I didn't watch Saw, which was just like the one with Chris Rock. Is that like the newest one?
Oh, Book of Saw, Spiral.
Spiral. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I haven't seen those. So I was like, maybe we should watch the
yeah.
Saw series because the way that it all intricately like goes together and is fairly interesting. But yeah,
They need to do that more in horror films. Just have like interconnected narratives over a long sort of like have a whole like 3 4 part film series with an ongoing plot.
it's just nice to have something that isn't just this is a gory film when we're doing the most horrific deaths we can think of and
Yeah,
just for the sake of it. Like, oh, there's actually some substance to this movie and you
that Alien. Fucking love Alien.
know.
Even the fourth one that everyone seems to hate.
I like the fourth one. That's just because I was like
Yeah,
10 when it come out, and the other ones at that point I found kind of boring, and I don't think I'd ever watched like all the way through. But like the fourth one, I was like, this is really cool.
Whedon.
Exactly.
Everything became so much clearer when I realized it was Joss Whedon that wrote and directed that film. I was like, oh, okay, now it makes sense.
Now it makes
It's
sense.
Firefly, but with more gore. Okay.
Yeah, just a bit more gore. And Winona Ryder.
Yeah, looking fit as fuck, if I recall.
I just remember being like, Winona Ryder, and she's like a robot or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
Robot, android,
Android.
yeah. And she like pulls out like a mole. It's got like a little port. Yeah, that's just like one of those things that
Yeah.
just sticks in my head. And then obviously like
Yeah.
the alien getting sucked out of the little hole.
Oh, that bit was grim. The human alien
The
hybrid. That's
baby
gross.
does
Yeah.
that horrible scream
You in the
thing.
face. Brad frickin' Dorff, man. Another actor that is just I've never seen him be bad at anything. I mean, he tends to play very similar characters, which is probably why he's not that bad in anything.
Hmm.
But who cares if it's not broke? Don't fix it. facilities for fucking vegetables. Like actors have one thing you're good at and stick with it.
And then
Strangely,
go
his
on.
daughter is also amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah. I saw her in the really, really awesome Netflix series that was cancelled after 2 seasons adaptation of Doug Gently with Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood.
Really, really great show, and it was building to something that could have been really great, and then they cancelled it because they're cunts.
A show that I really liked that got cancelled, which I watched on like I might have watched it on like BBC Three or something random. I don't know. Was Houdini and Doyle.
I don't think I saw that.
It was really good. It took a bit of getting into. Like not for me, I liked it straight away, but I can understand that other people might have taken a little bit getting into. But it
I think
was
it was Harry Houdini and Arthur Conan Doyle solving
yeah.
mysteries.
And like Doyle's like this huge which way around is it? One of them's like a cynic. I feel like it's him because
Yeah.
I don't know. They could both be cynics because one's a magician that fools people for a living, and one is a writer that fools people by believing these things. I think Doyle is into ghosts and things and believes that there's weird shit in the world, and Houdini doesn't.
Yeah, I feel like it would like narratively it would make more sense for Houdini to be the cynic because his job is literally here's something that looks magical.
Yeah,
Here's how it's actually quite mundane.
yeah. So, but it's I'm gonna Michael Weston, who I really love, who has been in like some Zach Braff stuff. You know, in Scrubs, the like sergeant or whatever with like the big head, like from the army. He's in that episode. He has his head all like bandaged up. No.
Oh, the one he's there for like 2 or 3
Yeah.
episodes. The young guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him. He's in like Garden State, and he
Is
was
he?
in a really bad horror movie called Pathology
That sounds
in like
awful.
the early thousands. Yeah. But yeah, he's great, and he was playing Houdini, and then it was oh, you know the tall, skinny guy from Green Wing with the dark hair.
With the curly hair.
Yeah,
Stephen Mangan.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, he was Arthur Conan Doyle.
Oh, bringing it full circle. Do you know
Oh,
who else he played?
who else has he played?
Dirk Gently in the British version of Dirk Gently.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, and the season just like found about halfway in. It went from being just an episodical thing where nothing was like overarching. Then stuff started happening, and then it like got to the end of the season, gets left on this like huge cliffhanger, and yeah, just no more.
Okay.
Like, I really want more of it. It would be great because it like just
Go on.
found its like real footing
Yeah.
where I feel like everybody would have got really into it. But yeah, it was just great, really good. Just really enjoyed it. Really good performances, good like costume and stuff, and kind of like detective, supernatural drama kind of thing.
Good combo.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it.
One of the last shows I watched that wasn't totally terrible. Did you see Lockwood and Co. on Netflix?
I have not seen that. No.
Similar vibe, kind of paranormal. Like it's set in London, but there's ghosts around and they fuck you up if they touch you. And for some strange reason, kids have to fight. I think only young people can see them. So
Okay.
the kind of the army that the group put in charge of stopping the ghosts are all like teenagers.
Ah,
And but it's directed by your man that did Attack the Block. I'm suddenly blanking on his name.
that did what?
Attack the Block.
What directed? Did you say?
Yeah,
I don't know who directed that.
it's the guy from the Adam and Joe show. Joe Cornish, I think. Cornish pasty.
I never actually watched that Attack the Block.
Oh, you definitely. Oh, it's so
No,
good.
is it?
Yeah, it's so good. It's trust me, it's well worth the watch.
I just like don't know because it's just proper like I don't know if the actors would annoy me.
No, it's
It's proper
Jodie
Cockney,
Whittaker.
in it?
No,
Is
it's
it not?
not at all. No. Jodie Whittaker is sort of the lead, and
Oh
the other
really?
one is fucking Finn from Star Wars.
Yeah, John Boyega. Boyega.
Yeah, John Boyega, Jodie Whittaker, fucking Nick Frost shows up for a
Oh,
bit.
okay.
Yeah, it's quality film.
Or maybe
Not
I'll
for
watch
me at
that
all.
later.
Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah, just never watched it. I remember when it was like out. I just feel like it was always advertised as just like really silly thing that's like, oh, that's not. I'm not gonna watch that
I mean, it is kind of stupid, but in a really good way.
in a
So
good
it's
way.
okay. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's like Misfits. If you just read what Misfits is about on paper, it sounds terrible, but the actual show was great.
Not actually watched that either. Do you know? My sister
Ah,
watched it. I feel
so
like
good.
I was slightly too young at the time. I don't know. I feel like maybe just ever so slightly too young at the time that it came out, and then I just never picked it up. But I feel like it was also at the time that probably the only thing I watched on telly was like Skins or something. I feel like it isn't the same. It was like this Channel 4 era,
Yeah,
but I just missed that one because they're like superhero y.
yeah,
They've got superpowers, right? But they're in like
yeah.
a not a detention facility, but
No,
they're like
yeah, they're doing community
community
service.
service. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all ASBOs, and on their first day doing community service, there's a big storm, and they all get superpowers. But their superpowers are all fucking terrible, and they're just terrible people doing terrible things terribly, and it's brilliant. The ending is shit. Like it gets about half. Well, there's like 5 episodes because it's an English show.
Yeah.
The first like 2 or 3 seasons are really fucking good. Then an event happens. I won't say what for spoilers, but after that things change, and it never quite recovers.
Hmm.
The last couple of seasons are decent, but they're not as good. And then like it ends, and it's just like it just sort of ends. Like there's no real culmination of anything. Like nothing is explained. You never really like work out what's actually going on. It's all just complete fuckery.
Hmm.
But it's very enjoyable fuckery. And Robert Sheehan's in it.
Yeah.
At his most Robert Sheehan. So that's always good.
Uh, yeah. Before we talk about anime, I will just reinstate my excitement for the Barbie movie. I don't know if you're excited as I am, Tig, about the Barbie movie.
I'm not as excited as you are, clearly. But it's one of those films that I have a distinct suspicion I will end up loving. But I've not watched any trailers for it. I'm aware of it, but I'm not kind of actively monitoring it, shall we say?
I have watched the trailers, but I feel like it's kind of movie where if you just went into it, you'll be like pleasantly surprised by like how much is going on. Um,
Fuckery. But I know a lot of people whose opinions I generally trust are quite excited for it. So I'll probably wait until they see it, and if it lives up to the hype, I'll check it out.
I mean, it's Greta Gerwig, so it's going to be weird. It's going to be quirky, and I'm here for it.
I'm a fan of all those things.
'Cause
So
I love Barbie. I just grew up with Barbie. It's just I'll be watching it going, oh, I had that toy. Oh, I had that. I had that. And then yeah, so it's like nostalgia, but also it's not just a Barbie movie. She's like putting all this stuff into it, and it's actually going to have relevance and feel relatable, even though it's about this plastic doll.
that next movie.
But yeah, no, it's looking shaping up to be a very, very, very cool movie. So I'm excited about it. Uh,
And then there's Oppenheimer.
yeah, and what was the other film? There's another Scorsese movie coming out, or that's being made,
Killers of the Flower Moon.
and that has got calling back to people that use all the same actors is well,
Really?
first of all, Nolan always uses obviously Cillian Murphy, and Scorsese is using Leonardo DiCaprio again. I just feel like it's I don't know, a bit samey. You know, you're just like, oh, mix it up a little bit. Like at least Cillian Murphy is like
Yeah.
a lot drastically different in like everything he does. There's no
And
like
apparently, Wes Anderson has another one coming out soon, and it's
yeah.
the exact same cast as always.
Is it Adrian Brody?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's always in it.
Rocket Power or something. Oh. But I did get kind of a Fallout vibe from the posters. So if it is a kind of Fallout style, I'll be down for that. Speaking of, apparently there's a Fallout TV series coming out.
Is it
Yeah,
like a live action one?
yeah. Kind of worried.
Be
Speaking
worried.
of, thing that I'm very worried about. Totally unconfirmed at this point. Like, it's just some fucking shit I saw on Facebook.
Mm.
I saw a thing on Facebook saying casting rumors for the HBO Harry Potter series.
Right, yeah.
Christopher Eccleston as Snape.
I love Christopher Eccleston. Yeah.
How great would he be as Snape? Andy Serkis, presumably CGI, as Hagrid. Could be
Okay.
good. I'm blanking on the name, but some lady I hadn't really heard of, but looked pretty decent as McGonagall.
Mm.
David Tennant as Voldemort.
Oh, well, that's good because he already obviously was in Harry Potter, but in a very kind of like non-impressive role.
And I
Did,
feel like
and
they said,
also Tom Felton as Lucius Malfoy, I heard.
"Oh, really? That would be funny."
Because I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Because Tom
I
Felton's so still
feel,
involved in the Harry Potter verse. I feel like the others all step aside from it, whereas he's like, yeah, love it. It's all about it. And he does get other work. He does do other stuff. It's not even like he doesn't have a
oh
career
yeah,
outside of Harry Potter.
Liam Cunningham as Dumbledore.
I'm gonna have to look up who that is.
Davos from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I'm not a big Game of Thrones person.
Okay.
Liam Cunningham.
Yeah, quality casting. Trust me.
Oh, I know who that is. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, how good would he be as Dumbledore?
And he's young enough to. He's got an aged look about him with the beard and everything. He'll look, but he's young enough to do stuff. Because
Yeah.
I feel like that's yeah, because
It's where they kind of fucked up with the casting for the films. They got like a properly old person to play Dumbledore, and it's like, yeah, great, Gambon, you've got the energy, you've got the sort of the look, but you can barely move, mate. How are you gonna fight fucking Voldemort? It's like,
and funnily enough, this Liam Cunningham kind of looks exactly like an old Jude Law, who played Dumbledore in there. He
yeah,
literally looks like
actually,
an old Jude Law, yeah.
yeah, I didn't know about that. Although there's probably not a huge difference in their ages.
Yeah, just looking at him, I'm like, yeah, just looks just like him in
Yeah,
his ways. That's
it does
funny.
kind of feel like this could be like this TV series could be a direct sequel to the Fantastic Beasts
Mm.
films.
It'll be nice. I think Harry Potter, like the films are alright. I like the
I,
films, but they're the only thing you have. Like I like the universe, similar to Star Wars. I like the universe and the world better than I like the things themselves. But they're all you've got, so I'll sit and watch them all. Um, but the story itself lends itself to a TV show much better. Like
way more.
as an episodic thing, it will just work nicer. You're
Yeah.
actually going to have time to really get to know all these characters, have more backstory, character development, and it not just
Yep.
be like
All that good shit.
constant bad shit happening to these poor kids like every year of school. There'll be like some filler episodes where you just get to see them like doing shit.
I still maintain though that it should have been animated. I think a really high production quality, like think like
I was
Invincible.
gonna say Invincible, yeah.
Yeah, like that is just as Invincible has just become my kind of benchmark for what animation can be. Like Invincible, Vox Machina, that level of production quality, but for a Harry Potter TV series.
Because
It's
Little
perfect.
Witch Academia by Trigger, fantastic. Way more enjoyable than watching the Harry Potter movies. It's just and it is, it's witches at school and stuff's going down. It's so good. I feel like we're gonna have to go straight from talking about this to talking about Mashal.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Segueing us into anime, yeah.
speaking of shows that are basically animated Harry Potter, how good was Mashal this week?
Mashal, I mean, we can talk about the last few weeks because we've had a little bit of a
Yeah.
break.
Except that one of
Mashal,
those weeks was a fucking recap episode like a bitch.
oh yeah, I skipped that because I was really busy, so I didn't watch it. And then you was like, by the way, it's just a recap, and I'm like, okay, don't worry about that then. Yeah, so good. I made like real notes about this.
Okay. Let's hear the note.
Yeah, so my main feeling, because I've not read the manga, so for me this is fresh and this is just I'm assuming it's like a One Punch Man story. He's super powerful and nothing's gonna really like threaten him, blah blah blah. However, in these last few episodes, every episode is like gaining a magical friend. He's like, um, he's like a goofy Goku character, right? Who's making friends out of all these people that are his enemies or trying to be his enemies. And in this last one, especially, like at the very end of this last episode, they fought someone who's pretty powerful or like quick, and seemingly you was like, oh, Mashal was up for a challenge here. Um, I'm in the mindset of he's gaining so many friends that by the end boss of this series, even if Mashal struggles against someone who's super powerful and his strength can't beat it, he's going to have such a huge gang of friends who are really powerful and magical that he's not going to have to worry anyway because they're all going to join. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be like the whole school on Mashal's side because they've all realised that the people running the school are massive dickheads.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah. And the other thing with this series, I'm like, I cannot believe how the kids are just going around like kicking the living shit out of each other. And it's totally fine
There
because,
are no rules at that school.
yeah, the people running the school just like don't care. Or the headmaster seems to care a bit, but he can't do anything about it because all these other higher ups are like, you know,
He
just
kind of feels like he's just in it for the crack. Like he doesn't want them to die, but he's fine just to watch the absolute chaos they unleash on a regular basis.
and he's like, but you, Mashal, you can make a difference. You become top dog, and then you know you can make a difference. I'm just gonna sit back and let you do it.
Yeah, so
but
good.
but yeah, I'm very much enjoying it.
It's just such pure fuckery that I can't hate it. So good, and it's quite funny. Like I'm reading, they're in like the very end of the last fight. Like there's probably a handful of chapters left,
Mm.
and then just jumping back right to the start and seeing where it all began. It's like, oh man. Like there are some shows where you read the last chapter and read the first chapter, and it's like, man, so much has changed. And I read MASH and I'm like, nah, it's basically still the same shit. Like it's just him being an absolute shoe bun powered moron, punching his way through all his troubles. It's glorious. And I have no notes. A star across the board. Just keep doing exactly what you're doing.
It's a good job that he's an idiotic good guy
Yes.
and not evil.
Very much so.
All powerful.
Well, he would be an absolute menace if he wasn't so easily distracted by shoe buns.
But yeah, I like. I don't know. I wasn't sure if it was gonna bug me to start with, like the silliness, you know. But I'm here for it now. I'm enjoying it.
I think they keep it at a good level. Like it's not ridiculous all the time. Like there is some actual story and there is general character development, and then he just like zones out in the middle of a conversation and starts eating a shoe bun. Like they balance it quite well.
Yeah, and I like the other characters as well. Like his roommate,
Yeah.
who's just always like, oh my god, just always like fearful of everything that is happening. Yeah, the new guy with the red hair, who's like, I don't know, in anime terms, he's a good-looking guy. Yet he's like, I hate good-looking guys.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Quality. The other guy slightly creeps me out just because, not so much because of him, but just because I went through a phase where I was like watching a couple of new series and reading a couple of new series, and they all seemed to have characters in whose sole motivation was, look how much I love my little sister. And it's like, is that really an issue? Like, is there something going on there? Like, why are there so many characters who seem borderline creepily obsessed with their little sisters? Like, doesn't sit well with me.
You're like, let's just
That's an it.
not think about that.
Yeah, can we deal with that, please?
Well, Mashal's motivation is cream puffs and to live a nice, quiet life.
Two things I'm 100% behind. Love a good shoe bun.
Yeah, so I'm here for Mashal. It's all good. I like how clean the animation is. It's very colourful, very clean, just like
very clean. It's got a great aesthetic, and I am a big fan of aesthetic.
And then we're still watching Summertime Rendering.
Yeah.
This was episode like 15, 16 that we've watched.
Yes.
I'm still very confused. No.
Yeah. Although, I fucking cracked it.
Oh, okay.
I solved the case.
Of the copying or?
No.
Oh.
None of that. That is still completely blows my mind. But do you know, I was complaining last time about how it really annoyed me that sometimes Ushio has an H on the end and sometimes it doesn't.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I know why.
Why?
Same thing with Mio.
Mm.
When a clone is talking, well, when they're referring to a clone, it has the H on the end. When they're referring to the
Oh.
original, it ends on the O. I'm assuming that was their terrible way of them. I'm assuming like the kanji that they write their names in are slightly different,
Mm.
and so they couldn't work out how to translate that to English. They just did the H.
And you're like,
But yeah, I,
fine.
I put it to extensive testing when I was watching these episodes, and yeah, 100%. Whenever the clone is talking, or whenever they're talking about the clone, there's an H on
There's
the
an
end of
H
the
on
name
that.
with both Mio and Ushio.
Hmm.
Whenever they're talking about the originals, it ends with an O. O for original.
Yeah, I'm glad you cracked that, but I've just put I'm still very confusing with the doubling and copying and the rules and trying to follow. It's hurting my brain. I'm just
That's fair.
because again at the start of like episode 15, it's just like it's just reeling off all this. We could do this because blah 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 blah, and then you're like, what? Okay,
And
not
then
really
they put in
following
that
that.
weird thing about how you can't like, oh, you could like oh, but well, they can just snipe us now. No, we can't because you've got to be within 50 meters of the original.
Yeah, you
What?
can't. Why? Why is it
Making up new rules.
suddenly we're just adding this little rule because yeah. It, otherwise,
Because
the
they
plot's
needed a
gonna fall
reason for them
apart.
not to just snipe the whole team from 300 meters away.
Yeah. Um, I did put that it was quite interesting. They've managed to like obviously work together as a team really well, and they've managed to get one up on the shadows now because the shadows thought that he's like wounded and he's gonna die and it's all gonna reset. So they just go back to there. They're like, don't worry, everything's gonna reset in a little bit. And then it's like, why aren't things resetting? What's happening? Oh, he made a bulletproof vest and blah blah. Yeah. Anyway, so they're one level up at the minute, kind of in a good position, but we'll see what happens.
I like that, but I did think it was a bit of a stretch. Like he just Googled, how do I make a bulletproof vest? And it was able to stop a high powered sniper. I know it was he got shot with a pistol, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah,
But even still, it's like although I do remember back on Mythbusters, they had a recurring segment called Is It Bulletproof?
yeah.
Where they would test things that in films had been shown to stop bullets to see how many of them could actually stop bullets.
Mm.
And you'd be surprised how much random shit can stop a pistol bullet.
That's like,
Like phone books
yeah, I
and
was gonna
light.
say books are good because they're just high friction.
Yeah.
Um, but things like like the sheriff's badge, that just
Yeah.
goes straight through.
But I think a Zippo stopped a pistol, but not a rifle, obviously. Fucking nothing stops shotguns. Those things are monsters.
Yeah, you do not want to get shot with a shotgun.
No. That's why I use shotguns in any game where they're possible. I always use a shotgun because shotguns are the win. Before we get to Destructive, I was about to go off on a complete thing about. I did a Mass Effect trilogy playthrough and got so annoyed at the whole thing. But before we completely leave the subject, I did like their explanation for the time traveling and why he's only got one jump left in him. Like, I don't think it really checks out if you analyze it too deeply, but kind of the pseudoscience was just good enough that you're like, yeah, you know what? That works. Crack on, mate. My suspension of disbelief goes far enough that I can happily accept whatever that was you just said, and that's why you've only got one jump left. There's only 10 episodes left anyway, and there's going to be probably one epilogue with
Mm,
that. So, like, there's probably 3 or 4 episodes of filler, 5 episodes of the final fight, 1 episode of ending. Jobs are good. And then the all is lost moment where he has to travel back in time.
yeah, I do really like. Can't remember if it's the opening or ending that I like a lot, like the theme song.
I skip them both,
It's
but
either the opening or ending is actually like really solid. Speaking of which, I've got the Mashal opening in my head because it's like
the Mashal opening is solid.
it's proper like
The outro's a bit weird.
90s kind of,
Yeah,
yeah.
has real kind of dodgy 90s, not quite new metal, but sort of
It's like nostalgic, like
yeah.
cartoon opening. It's like, yeah, everything else I'm watching has. Oh, I mean, another thing that has a great opening and just solid music, like you've brought up before, is the Ancient Maker's Bride. It's just like
Oh yes.
this episode, especially this last episode, the music was just like just brings everything that's happening like up a whole level. Yeah, just insane.
They really know how to use the score to just like lift up any scene. Like,
Yeah.
oh, here's the scene of them walking through the forest. But suddenly it's magical because we've got some plinky fairy music in the background. Yeah, sorted. On it. 10 out of 10. Good job.
Was you going off on your Mass Effect tangent?
I
Bef-
mean, I can if you'd like. Basically, for reasons I'm not entirely sure of, I decided to start playing Mass Effect trilogy again. But
mm.
I was like, you know what? This time I'm going to stop with Coward, and I'm going to do it on the highest difficulty. I did it. I completed the game. Yeah, that game does not need to be played on high difficulty. I'm sorry, but increasing difficulty on that game is just dumb. Like that it's just no. No. It just there's so many fights that go from relatively good to stupidly frustrating because for no goddamn reason a peon can just one shot you from across the map. Like you played Mass Effect, haven't you?
Yeah, the first one, yeah.
Like, well, basically, the big final fights, there is no like single boss.
Right.
You're just trying. There's a big monster marching towards you, and you're trying to kind of hold the line to protect this rocket launcher so you can launch a rocket off and blow their bitch up. It's a solid set, but it's just literally you against an army of creatures that, if they get in melee, will just pick you up and snap your neck, regardless of how much health you've got. And the monster, the Reaver, is firing lasers, and if they touch you, you're dead. It's like I'm just here fucking dodging one shots while trying to kill these bastards. Like it's not fun. I'm sorry. I just want to put it on normal because I'm normal and not get randomly one shot by everything. Thanks. Bye. Fuck yourself.
Yeah, this is like I would like to be able to play Cuphead on an easy mode where I can take more than 3 hits or just enjoy the game and the art style without it being insanely hard because I just don't enjoy that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just that I'm getting old and I'm terrible at video games, but I can't be asked with playing on like maximum difficulty for anything anymore. Because since then I've moved on to Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous. Solid game. It's basically it's like a D&D kind of offshoot.
hmm
Really fun game. Solid mechanics. But I'm like, yeah, okay, here's normal difficulty. There's like 17 different difficulty settings and a bunch of different things you can customize underneath. And I was like, yeah, put it on normal, turn off all the fucky options, just let me play. And it's great. I'm loving it.
yeah,
Punching people. It's awesome.
I'm a normal difficulty person.
Yeah.
Like I like so like in Gears of War or something, I like being able to run straight into like a group of them and start curb stomping and stuff without really worrying about dying too much because it's
Yeah.
just fun. If you need to keep hanging back and being really strategic and ducking in, gets a bit repetitive and boring. You want to just be able to run in and like fuck shit up sometimes, you know?
I can't count how many times I died during that Mass Effect trilogy playthrough because I got shot in the time it took Shepard to complete like a reload animation or jumping over a barrier, and I'd get killed in a time when I literally couldn't
Mm.
avoid or do anything to counter the shot. Like, fuck off.
This is why I don't play The Last of Us because I watch people play The Last of Us and you get killed so often.
Yeah.
But you get slightly grabbed too close or whatever by a clicker and that's it. And then you got to go back and do the whole thing again. And I'm just like, and in terms of how, I'm like, oh, if this was real, you'd be fucked. Like if that's how easy it is to get killed, there's no way anyone's surviving for years out here. So then I don't enjoy playing it because it's just not. I'm like you'd never be able to actually make it from point A to point B without dying.
It's
Like
exactly why I've not played it.
I mean, I think there are people that have played the entire game on difficult mode and not died once.
Yeah, of
But
course.
that's people that sit and dedicate and know the timing and play the game so often, like speedrunners, and they know like every single beat
Yeah.
of the game and how to get through it. I don't got time for that. Who's got
And
time for
I
that?
can also assume they just have to be on a bunch of speed to be able to react that quickly.
Like I was playing Tetris and I'm like, how do people play Tetris? Like when it becomes so quick at the top level that you literally don't have time between it entering the screen and dropping down, whether you know what's coming next or not. There's no time to move it and place it. How do people do this? Like you see professionals do it and you're like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I just I thought of something else. When we were talking about Last of Us, I was like, oh, I should talk about that, and it just completely left my brain.
I ruined it by talking about Tetris.
No, I literally was like, oh, I should bring that up, and then I got distracted by something shiny and completely forgot about it.
um, my brother just said that his favorite is Dark Souls 3, but blindfolded.
Jesus, that's a bit extreme.
I can't imagine someone doing
I know someone completed, I think it was all 3 Dark Souls games, but they were only allowed to use a DDR dance pad. Yeah,
That's
and they
pretty
did it. Yeah,
that's pretty hardcore.
and I know
That's
someone completed, I think it was every FromSoft game without being hit once. Like they literally completed all, like I think Demon Souls, all 3 Dark Souls, I think Sekiro and Elden Ring without being hit once. That is insane. That is some like serial killer sociopath shit. Having that level of dedication.
yeah, I can't I'm just not good enough. I'm the person that plays like Mario.
I play turn-based shit because I love turn-based. Pathfinder's turn-based. Awesome.
Oh, my brother just put imagine getting hit on the last boss. Like you make it all the way through the game and then you get hit. This is my level of anxiety when I'm playing like Guitar Hero or like a rhythm game. Any rhythm game. As soon as I'm like, oh, I'm on a really good streak. I haven't had a single missed note and they've all been like perfect.
Yeah.
As soon as I start thinking about it, I start panicking and then I miss one and I'm like, ugh.
Yep.
So that's yeah. That's my anxiety with a rhythm game. So with an actual game where things are trying to hit me, there's no chance. Like I play old school Mario and I'm running and I go to jump over the hole and for some reason I jump and then just stop midair and fall down said hole. That do you know what I mean? That stuff just happens. So when I see people like speed running, I'm like, look, I can't even play normal speed and not fall down a hole every now and then. Like, yeah.
They're a different breed. It's crazy.
Anyway, other anime. What have we? Oh yeah. So well, Meg's Bride we're both watching. You watched all of season 1 and then on to season 2.
Yep. I am now up to date with Mega's Bride.
We are up to date. I feel like there's been like the second season as a whole has been like really strong so far. Introductory to the school and everything. Then we had a couple episodes like really focusing on their relationship and the relationship of like the other guys. It was very like low key, not much happening in those episodes, but just
Yeah.
the Medusa kid.
I like him. He's cool.
Yeah, he's cool. That was all very cool. The kids all just like making pacts and becoming friends and being like,
And then there's that one chick whose name I can't remember who just
yeah,
kind of seemed a bit evil. I'm
yeah.
not
Well,
sure.
it's like, and this last episode, well, not this last episode, but the one before, she like goes back to her family home. And you kind of learn that it's her family. They're super shady, so they're people that are basically spies, right? So they're made to like listen and learn information, whatever.
Because she's the one that she say kind of helped out with the tea, right?
Yeah, in like the very first
And then there's
episode.
the other one. There's like the blonde lady that's like super rich and was being mean to the spy lady. I think
Right. Okay.
she's the one we need to watch out for.
Oh,
She
okay.
is sus as fuck. Do not lie. I think spy lady will come over to our side by the end.
Yeah, 100%. She's got a soft spot for Chise, and she's
Yeah.
like doesn't want to be doing what she's doing, right? She's obviously gonna turn against her family. They treat her like garbage, like. And then you got the roommate who has some kind of dark past that we're not certain on. There's some kind of scandal or something that's happened. I'm assuming something happened, someone died or whatever, and people don't kind of like her or whatever. But she very like keeps to herself and is very mean. But she's opening up to Chise as well. Yeah, it's just really cool seeing them like in the lessons, like with a little fire thing, and
That was
like
good. That,
she's really good, and everybody else is like, "How can you do that? That's amazing." Um, I got confused in that first lesson because Elias is like looks different. I'm like,
Yeah.
that is not his human form. That is not his human form from like season one. What is going on here? They just decided they didn't like that, and they've made him. And then he explains that he chose that form because yeah. And I was like, oh okay. But
That's a solid read.
this last episode has been the most like action.
Yeah, fucking crazy. A lot went down in that single episode. It was pretty weird. Like they threw a lot at us and just expected us to be okay with it. It's crazy. Like, oh, this is a horse. He eats people, but he's actually the good guy because fucking look at that guy there. What the fuck? It's not my cottagecore dreamscape I was expecting. This is some serious monster hunter shit.
Yep. But they overcome and they prevail, and then we see Chise's like I
New
don't know.
haircut.
This lady comes up behind her, and then her like demon arm comes out in full force, slashes some shit up. Then she's just like, "Well, that was weird. That happened."
I did quite
Um,
like that little Wolverine moment. That was pretty cool. She fucked
yeah. She got her hair off. She did like a Sophie Calcifer thing, fed her hair to the horse. Um,
I'm
yes.
wondering, do you think she's gonna stay with the short hair now, or do you think by next episode it's just gonna have grown back and we're gonna expect not to notice it?
No, she got short hair now. This is a new look.
Okay.
Um, and we're just wondering what this lady is.
Yeah.
My brother was like, "Oh, is it like the dark version of her, like herself?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but it's
I feel like it's
clearly,
an outside force.
clearly kind of very specifically linked to her dragon
Yeah.
side. I don't know, but we'll find out. It's all like, oh, something.
But yeah, two things that kind of I had noted while watching these episodes. One actually from a few episodes back when they were talking about the like the 4 or the 5 pillars, whatever they're called,
Mm-hmm.
and there was Hohenheim the alchemist, which I thought was quite fun. Is that just a Full Metal Alchemist reference, or are they both referencing an actual like? Was there actually is Hohenheim an actual kind of mythological lore figure that both shows referenced, or is that just an FMA reference?
I would probably presume that it's real,
That's pretty cool then.
but I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do some research.
Yeah, it's long. I was hoping
It's
someone
long.
out know. But yeah, the second thing, Chise and Elias, like they are just entirely too codependent. It's getting a little weird. Like it was sort of admittedly the first season was yes, I just bought this underage girl. You would think that would be weird, but it kind of there were reasons and explanations, and it sort of turned out okay. We now jump to season 2, and it's getting a bit like even by the end of season 1, it got a bit weird when Chise was friends with the young girl who had the energy of a 40-year-old housewife. And Elias was like, "Yeah, no, you've got to leave because I don't like that you're friends with her." And then he tried to like sacrifice her for plot. We jumped in now, and it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going away for the weekend," and she's like, "Are you? Or should I come with?" Like the whole point is for me to work on my own. Yeah, but I feel like it'd be better if we were on our own. Dude, it's a long weekend. You'll be fine. Just let her have some time away with her friends. You creep.
But if he wasn't there, would she have died?
Probably, but that doesn't mean we should encourage that behavior. It's just it's a bit of a red flag
I feel like
to
this
me.
is why they did those 2 episodes prior to kind of be like, do you know what? This is a non-labeled, we're not sure relationship. It's not
True,
what is presumed. Like the
true.
whole bride explanation and everything going on.
I really liked that whole sort of
Yeah, and him
theme.
giving her the freedom essentially to be like, do you
Yeah,
what do you think? And she's like, well, I just like being here, like by your side, And I feel like if anything, they're gonna push. She's getting quite close with people at the school. She's gonna have the freedom to like, I don't know. Is it gonna be like, hey, I don't know, I feel like she's got enough freedom for it to not be creepy. But you're right, it's a bit creepy.
Yeah, like, you can't go a weekend without seeing her. That's a bit weird.
He's just this nondescript thing, though, isn't he? He's just this.
And then he tore himself in half, which was
That was weird.
yeah,
I was
just
like,
like half
what?
dog face and then sort of little shadow bits. It looked cool as hell, but
So until that half reconnects with the half back at the cottage, he's not actually going to have any memory of like what. I wasn't sure which half was like the most predominant half. The half that was with her couldn't do anything. But then he also said the half left at back at the cottage wasn't really going to be able to do much, which is why it wasn't going to work. It's very confusing.
a little bit, yeah.
But
You just stayed at home. Should have found a way. She's plucky. It's
she's
fine.
plucky. And yeah, but it was cool.
Yeah, enjoying it all so far.
Yeah.
Good stuff. 10 out of 10. Would watch more. Will watch more.
The best thing that I'm loving at the minute is the Ranking of Kings.
Ah,
And it's not even the actual season, it's just like a side quest, additional special OVA season that's like just here. We have some extra content. I don't know. While we're waiting for the second season, here have basically a whole season of stuff that
ranch.
happened in between the first season. Um, it's so good.
I am 4 episodes in to Ranking of Kings. I am enjoying it a lot.
It's
It
weird.
is so weird. Like, I think the part that really throws it, the part that takes it from kind of odd to just fucking weird is the art style.
Mm,
It's got this kind of half Ghibli, half like 1950s Hanna-Barbera style.
yeah.
So you'd expect it to be super cutesy and sort of light and fluffy, but then just really dark shit keeps happening, and it's like this is tonally very hard to grasp for me. Like, are you a sweet 1950s cartoon, or did a child just get beaten half to death by his stepbrother because his brother was pissed at him for dodging too much? Like, what is actually going on here? Fucked up. It has that kind of BoJack energy. Have you seen BoJack? Haven't you?
No.
Well, basically, that show is depressing as fuck.
Oh.
So they had to try and find a way to make it less depressing. So they just threw random. Like, the main character is a horse,
Yeah.
and his best friend slash mortal nemesis is a golden retriever. His agent slash girlfriend is a cat. Like, yeah. There's a whole episode about a chicken that runs away from essentially KFC. It's so weird. But they need that levity to balance out how fucked up the rest of the series is.
Mm.
Because it's dark as shit. It like that kind of this has the same energy. Like, it feels like they had to make the art style really cutesy, because otherwise you're just watching a deaf and dumb kid get beaten half to death by his brother and then pushed in a fucking hole. Like,
It
what?
it's I like the art style. It does remind me of like old cartoons from the 80s or whatever.
Yeah,
It's very colourful, but then yeah, the story is very dark. Um, but Boji is just the
Boji.
best new character
Boji,
on the scene,
Boji. What a legend.
and Kage as well.
Yeah.
I just
Oh,
and every episode you watch, you're gonna be like, this is amazing. And one of the things that I loved most about it was every episode was like, oh, this really big thing's happening, and I wonder what's gonna happen. And instead of making you wait half a season or whatever, the very next episode you're like, great, getting straight into it. So you're
yeah.
not like ever in pain, like anxiously waiting for something. It's really
It's like,
the pacing of it is really really nicely done, but
this is
not in
good.
a way. It doesn't feel rushed. It's just,
Yeah.
oh, we're actually getting somewhere and we're getting through this. It's great.
Oh
All the
no, Boji got beaten up and someone mysteriously healed him. Next episode, it was his mum.
Yeah, that
Quick.
exact thing. That is what it is like every episode or two. Which I really like because you're only waiting a week with that. Oh, I wonder what happened. Here we go.
Yeah.
Um, the character development, all the backstories and everything, all really, really, really great. The just wait until you get there. But the final like boss fight at the end of the season is just next level animation. It's literally like I would love to have seen it on the cinema. It,
Wow.
it's so good.
Okay.
Because you're rewatching it and I'm watching like the Treasure Chest of Courage, I'm like, I need to go back and watch it again. Because thinking about watching it the first time, I'm like, yeah, I need to watch that again.
Although weirdly, like, all right, yeah, scrolling down, Ranking of Kings, episode 1, season 1, press play. Like, what is this weird? Like, that's not Japanese, and there's no subtitles. What's going on? It weirdly jumped me straight to the Arabic dub, and to get just the show with in Japanese with subtitles was season 34.
Yeah. Yeah, mine is only
What?
showing at the minute. It's showing like 32 or something, and then it's got
Yeah.
the Treasure Chest of Courage. And every time you finish, my mate Jax just put, "What? You don't speak Arabic?"
A bit, because the area I grew up in was that there was a massive Arabic population. So I know mostly swear words, which they aren't really using a lot of. So, I mean, if they start swearing at each other more, I'm gold. But sadly, no, if we're just talking like regular conversation, I can't really follow it.
We're just getting your backstory and all the lore, Tig lore. That is what
I've
Jack
got a
said.
pretty good backstory.
Um, yeah, and then you finish watching the most recent episode of like the Treasure Chest, and it just takes you immediately to episode one of the actual season. You're like, no, just stay here because next week I want to watch the next one. And when I go on to it, it's playing season one instead of playing where I am currently actually watching on this. Anyway, that's Crunchyroll anger
Crunchyroll
that we do every
fucking
week.
sucks,
But
man. Because if they stop being shit every week, we'd stop complaining about it every week. If you could just not be a fucking moron for 30 goddamn seconds, that would be superb.
But yeah, the treasure chest is really good because it's just wedging lots of little side stories in between like the episodes of the first season, giving us even more in-depth look at these characters and cool stuff that's happened.
Like the Zootopia shorts.
Yeah, basically. The last one that was just on this week takes place after like the ending. And so yeah, some of them do because I feel like it needs to bridge the gap, and it will end up basically bridging the gap between this season and season two. Um, but yeah, it's just really great. I just love it. All the characters are fantastic. All the backstory is great. Like just this side story season is better than most seasons of TV.
Damn.
Like, and all of them that are going, all these characters, I would easily watch a whole season of anime just about like these characters. I could easily do
Old statement.
it. It's just a
Oh,
heartfelt, warming, but also lots of action, lots of good story. Just yeah, great anime. Definitely one of my like top of like just it's straight to the top.
yeah, and I know a few people that have watched it, and I don't, much like Slime, I don't know anyone that has a bad thing to say about it. Everyone just seems to really love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see why. I'm only 4 episodes in, but there's a strong 4 episodes.
Yeah, I might start watching it again so that I can keep track of like where you are and be
Well,
fresh
you need to
with.
watch.
I've got it in my head, but um yeah, that's why I said like watching this now is probably better because the other I don't know how many episodes of the Treasure Chest of Courage is going to be, but that's current. And then yeah, Slime. I don't know when season 3 of Slime is coming back.
I just balls. I just my friend who's also a massive anime fan occasionally posts those big like they have those like picture dumps where it's like just like here's all the things coming out this season, and season 3 of Slime was up there,
Oh, okay.
but I can't remember when it was saying it's coming.
Because Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, first of all, Fire Force season 3 has been announced to be coming
Yes,
back this summer.
that was there.
Attack on Titan is coming back in the fall for the
Yeah.
finals part. Yeah.
Bleach second course starts in July.
Yes, I was just gonna say Bleach starts on July 6th, the same day as Jujutsu Kaisen season 2.
That's
What
gonna
a
be a
great day for you.
that's gonna be a great fucking day for me. We know what actual day that is.
The 6th is a Thursday, so it's gonna be every Thursdays is Bleach and I think I
I
said
think
yeah
if it's like last core, Disney Plus won't have it up till the
to
Friday.
the Friday.
Because I was saying like I used to do comic reviews, but the site went down, and so I covered the first Bleach core for them. I will be start if I haven't started it before that point. I will get my Substack set up, and I will be writing weekly reviews for Bleach because that's where I kind of first cut my teeth with editorial writing. So I have to keep the trend going.
And because you absolutely love Bleach.
That too, yeah. We were pitching fights that we hadn't seen that we would like to see in the group chat the other night. It was some quality because they've said there's going to in the second core there's going to be a fight that wasn't in the manga.
Okay.
And based on the trailer, we think we can now tell. We know who at least one of the people are. So we were trying to kind of guess who he's going to be fighting. And can't fucking wait, man. Not long to wait either. I mean, it's basically June now. So
Yeah, basically like a month and a little bit, a month and a week, 4 or 5 weeks.
considering the past fucking 5 months have disappeared in the blink of an eye, and it feels like it was New Year's yesterday. That 4 weeks should pass in a fucking flash.
Has gone quickly, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I'm just going to be living my life by Jujutsu Kaisen.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure since we last spoke, I've watched the entire first season of JJK anime.
Oh, yeah.
Quality show, man. So fucking good. Oh my god. Although I swear I haven't gone back to actually check because that would involve doing something, so I'm just gonna say it into the world. I swear they changed Megumi's hair for the anime. It was not that spiky in the manga.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, they change a lot for the anime. Like you said, you're not really a massive fan of how clean
No.
like, too cartoony looking for you.
Yeah.
But
I,
the manga
I
is
love
so
the art style of the
sketchy.
manga. Yeah.
Well, it's not even like sketchy, but when a
Yeah.
character's face is drawn, like there's gaps in between the corners, and it's all
Yeah.
very kind of like not rushed, but it gives that it's very free. Free is a good word. Yeah, it's not like, oh, I must make sure that all my lines meet up exactly and whatever. You can tell it's that character. That's all we need to know. Let's get to a fight here. The manga's so good at showing like movement and everything as well, but I think that's the thing that the anime gets right, showing all of the like cursed energy, the colors and all the wavy lines and everything of that, and the movement. Like a lot of animes fall short when it comes to big movements. You see, oh, that's just a still frame and they're not really putting any effort into it. But Jujutsu Kaisen's Mappa, and they're just like, yeah, it's fantastic. Like the fights.
Yeah, the fight scenes all look phenomenal. Like just fucking Gojo disrespecting everyone. Quality. I would watch a lot more of that. And I'm so fucking hyped to see the Shibuya arc in season 2.
Yeah, I feel like everyone is like, obviously the first half of the next season is going to be all young Gojo, and
Hell yeah.
we're here for that. The trailers are showing. Well, I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, they're showing quite a lot. They're showing quite a lot. I won't say, but yeah,
I mean, they've got a lot to cover. It's going to be a long. It's like 6 months of solid JJK.
yeah. It's 20. Well, I'm presuming 24 episodes. Yeah, back to back. Cool. So it's like no break in between. Just go, 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 go. Which is going to take us up. I wonder if that will take us right up to Christmas Eve.
I hope not, because I probably won't be here at that point. Yeah, I'll find a way.
But
Life finds a way.
Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen's fantastic.
It is.
And did you say you watched the Zero movie after as well?
Yeah, I watched Zero. I enjoyed it a lot. Here's the thing. I remember when I first read the manga, it took me a bit to get into because you start off Zero, it's awesome, and then you meet not Denji, you meet Yuji, and it's like, yeah, he's a decent enough character, but fucking Akatsu, man, he's such a boss, and he's such a moany little bitch, but he's just fucking lethal. And it's like I wanted more of him, so then just kind of having like 5 odd chapters of that, and then they all fuck off, and it's to like Yuji and the chick with the hammer. But they're decent characters, but I wanted more of like the fucking panda and Maki and Akatsu. So yeah, it was great seeing them all. I mean, like one of the benefits of releasing Zero kind of after the fact, as they did, is that they could add in a few extra scenes that weren't in the initial manga. Like during the Night of 100 Demons, we got to see like the sort of the Kyoto crew throwing down, which was good. Fucking Togo being an absolute legend. That the fight with Togo and Yuji versus Hanami.
Yeah.
That was fucking like it was great in the manga. It was next fucking level in the anime. Just like the way they showed them all like jumping around, and they were really selling the fucking hits. Like they were beating the shit out of that guy. It's like you could feel those fucking strikes land. I don't know if it was like the sound effects or what, just the animation being so crisp. Like I, it almost hurt to watch because you could just feel those fucking thuds landing. So good. And like Pogo's jumping, just look the way they wove that all together. Beautiful stuff, man. There are so many fights I just can't wait to see anime because you know they're gonna look ridiculous. And to top it all off, fucking my boy Okotsu, voiced by the actor whose name I've forgotten, but is the voice of fucking the king of the sad boys, Shinji Ikari, the OG anime sad boy lead. Always like always good to get Shinji back in the field. Did you see the rebuild of Evangelion? Oh, dude, you have to see it. So the first one's pretty decent. The second one is fucking great.
Okay.
One of the best like cliffhanger endings I've ever seen in an anime film. Third one's pretty shit. Mostly because it follows up the ridiculous ending. And like, oh, how are they going to build up from that? And like, oh, that's how they're going to follow up. But then the fourth one, which is the finale,
Yeah.
quality end. Like it wraps up because you know, like the initial anime release, like the last few episodes were not great. And they fucked up so bad that he had to re-release like 4 different films that were different cuts on the ending to try and explain what he actually wanted the ending to be. And he was never really satisfied with it. So now he's released the rebuild so he can show you how the ending was actually meant to be. And this is how it's meant to end. And the actual ending is fucking perfect. You gotta watch it. It's all on Prime. You can watch it for free.
Oh, it's on Prime. Okay.
Yeah. It was like simulcast on Prime. It was crazy.
I have to add
Good
it to
shit.
my list of things that I never get around to watching.
Speaking of both anime and shows that are fucking awful, I watched the worst anime on Prime.
Okay.
It was called Magical Girl Sight.
Sounds
Should have been
awful.
called Magical Girl Shite. It. I know it's the same joke I make, but they need to stop ending series with IGHT, and I'll stop calling them shite. It was just the dumbest fucking thing I have ever seen. Essentially, girls that are having a bit of a rough time will stumble across a website where it's like, I will give you power if you sort of, you know, in exchange for your torment. And they take it. And so this girl is bullied like really badly by everyone in her class. It becomes a magical girl with a gun that she can shoot people, then he just moves them through space. And she shoots a guy and he gets moved in front of her. Like this guy's about to rape her, so he shoots her, she shoots him, and he gets dumped in front of a train. And her reaction is, fuck yes, suck it, bitch. Like she gets sad about it. And then like they're building up to how there's this big sort of storm coming that's gonna wipe the world clean, kind of Noah style.
Right.
Called like the Tempest or some bullshit. And like there's they're, oh, but anyway, actually we have to kill the site admins for plot. And then about halfway through, suddenly her brother, who was one of the ones that really bullies her, like steals one of the like they all have magic. They're called wands, but none of them are actually wands. Like he steals a bunch of wands and like starts tormenting all of the other magical girls that she's made friends with, and like half the fucking season is just dealing with her weird pervy brother. Like I don't care, he's annoying. Just report him to the police. He's like a 20-year-old guy beating up 14-year-olds. Just lock his ass up, shoot him in the fucking head. Just do anything that's not waste half your season's runtime on what's clearly a mid boss. Like skip to the fucking end. And then the end arrives and it's dumb as shit and it ends on a cliffhanger, but it got cancelled because the show was fucking awful.
You just watch these things to be able to be angry at them. I
There's a
give up.
thing. Yeah.
I can't watch things like that to the end. If I'm watching something terrible, it's done.
I think they're all, like, all these shows are like 5, 6 episodes long, so I'd
Oh,
knock them out in
okay.
a couple of days, and then just quietly seethe for months afterwards. Like if like Sabrina, I was like, yeah, you know what? I watched the first season. It's not great. Knock it on the head.
Done, yeah.
Like I'm not gonna keep watching. Like fucking American Horror Story. I watched the first couple of seasons. I sort of liked them, but not enough to give a shit. So I stopped watching.
Mm.
But I did finish off the last season that I was watching because I want to know how it ends.
Is is that it for stuff we've watched?
Well, I've been watching the Nevers, but the less said about that, the better. So yeah, let's move on to something good.
Let's move on to something good. Manga. Yeah.
Woo!
Woo.
Fucking spoiler warnings. Shit's about to get real.
No, my chat is not lined up properly, but there we go. Um, I'm just making it work by adding in a couple spaces, and then you can see the messages. Um, yeah. Should we get My Hero Academia out first, and then we can just talk about Jujutsu Kaisen for like an hour?
Yep, crack on. That's
um,
fun.
well, the last 3 chapters of My Hero Academia have all been like Todoroki family, right?
Yeah,
Dabby's gonna explode,
but hasn't.
but hasn't yet. Endeavor's like got hold of him, being burned to shit, even though he's, fireproof at least to his own heat. Dabby's hotter than him. That's And then you had the bit where he realized there was like ice coming out of his chest as well.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and it comes out of this whole thing of when people are under extreme pressure, like either their quirks can change or they like have another one that's hidden. Then the internet's exploding with like all these things. Oh, so and so is gonna have Deku's got a hidden quirk, or All Might's got a hidden quirk. Because the last thing we saw of All Might was him getting into his mech suit, and we haven't been back to that yet for the fighting between him and one All for One, right?
Yeah.
That's who he's about to fight, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
um.
He's taking on Daddy Evil.
Yeah.
Who's taking on Baby Evil, and Endeavor's getting fucking roasted.
So
Almost as badly as he does in any anime comment section.
So yeah, that's happening, and then Mama Todoroki comes in. This is my fault too. You shouldn't have to possibly die alone here. It's not just your responsibility. Because he was going to try and fly him up far enough to it not impact the people that are stuck in the cube underneath.
Which is
but he realized he was failing. He weren't going to make it. Mama Todoroki comes. She's starting to put her ice against him. Then we've got brother and sister Todoroki coming in, also trying to add their firepower. Everyone's getting burnt to shit. You're like, oh, the whole family's gonna die, are they? But still, Todoroki is with, Shoto is with Ida, on his way as fast as shit, like as fast as he can go. And only just at the very end of this last chapter, it's like, oh, Shoto's finally about to make it there
at the show. Yeah.
So yeah. It's just
I want to be annoyed because there's been like 4 or 5 chapters where they've all been like 10 pages long and nothing has really happened. Like, the story hasn't really advanced. That like all of these last like 5 or 6 chapters are going to be like half an episode.
Yeah.
Because there's only about 4 minutes of actual
The
events going on.
The artwork's been heavy.
But I think I can't be annoyed because the chapters have all just looked so fucking good.
Yeah, really
Like, I
good.
can see why he's only cracking out 10 pages a fortnight because he is putting in some fucking detail. These pages have looked amazing. But I would quite like the pace to pick up a little bit.
I feel like this is gonna close out. Shoto's gonna arrive. No one's gonna die. Dabby's got to die, right?
Yeah,
At least
Dabby's
Dabby
gotta
has
die,
to
and I think
die.
Endeavor's gonna die.
I feel like they're not showing that he's banged up enough to die though. Like, yeah, he's like singed, but at the minute, I feel like he's gonna survive.
Exactly. They're lulling you into a false sense of security. I think Dabby is still going to explode, and basically they're all gonna kind of gather together. The whole Todoroki family's going to be there. They're going to make their peace. Everything they're going to kind of clear the air. Everything's going to be fine. And Dabby like, maybe I don't want to explode. Yeah, don't explode, Dabby. Oh shit, I can't stop it. We've gone too far. And so either Endeavor is going to like absorb the fire and just take the explosion on his own, or him and Dabby are both just going to fly off into the sky and
Mm.
explode together.
I feel like if Shoto and the others can cool him down enough that he's got enough firepower to shoot off. But he's literally hanging on to consciousness. He's an arm down. He's been beat to shit. He's now been burnt. Like he's literally about to keel over. Anyway. Yeah, so they'll wrap that up and then we need to be they kind of like teased the Toga like a few chapters ago they teased to go back to Toga and Uravity, but nothing actually really happened.
Yeah.
They showed which one she is. She's the twice with the knife, funnily enough.
Sure.
Going for Uravity. And then yeah, obviously we've still got like say the All Might we got like 5 fights happening. So we've got the Todorokis, we've got Toga with Uravity, we've got Deku with Shigaraki, obviously. We've got All Might and All For One. And then we still don't know where Kurogiri and Mike and Eraserhead have gone off to. Is that
There's
a
been a
fight?
lot
Is that
going
going to
on.
just be a friendly interaction and then Kurogiri's going to help someone? Kurogiri's going to walk back and take Dabby away.
Oh shit!
My
that
brain
could
just
work.
was like, fuck.
Yeah, I was just gonna make a fucking joke, but actually, no, that's a solid fucking theory. But would that be a bit Deus Ex Machina?
I don't know, but I feel like, what if you get your happy ending and Endeavor dies, but Kurogiri, because they're like hugging onto each other, both of them have to go and they get exploded. I don't know. But it just hit my brain like, oh my god, yeah, the warped person.
That would definitely be a way out. Like that would be a way to get them to a safe distance and explode without kind of too much nonsense.
Or at least warp everyone in the cube away to safety and leave the Todoroki family there without them having to worry, yeah?
That would also work because that way you remove the element of we're going to kill a bunch of innocent people from the equation.
Yeah, without destroying that drama.
Yeah, and it just becomes Todoroki family drama, which is what all this whole section's been about anyway. So
it's an episode of EastEnders just in a superhero thing, yeah.
My Hero EastEnders. That's the whole Todoroki family exploding.
Anyway, yeah. So that's there's a lot going on.
There's so much. There's no way if he continues at this pace that he's going to finish it this year.
Yeah, at the minute it's like Deku who, Bakugo who.
We still don't know if he's alive or not. The last time we saw, he was getting stitched back together by Edgeshot, and he's just still sitting on the floor.
Yeah, still dead.
Fucking
It's kind of like the Gojo game. It's like, how many days is Bakugo going to be dead for? Like, yeah.
Miss.
But I feel like when they were talking about the hidden quirk thing, they're lining it up for something like Bakugo.
Yeah.
His new quirk or whatever is going to awaken because he's had that near-death experience. Well, a full-death experience. Because they said near-death experiences cause you to blah, blah, blah. Not only has he got another person weaved inside of him now, but like, yeah, he's had that near-death experience. Something's going to awaken in him and suddenly he's a nice person. I don't know.
That's never going to happen. That's asking too much. Yeah, my suspension of disbelief only goes so far. But I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of inherited something from Edgeshot, maybe, or just something that lets him control his fire a bit better, so he's not just always blowing shit up all the time.
Yeah,
that could be cool.
But yeah, so yeah, MHA's been very good for really good looking short chapters. But the guy needs a break.
Yeah.
And, we don't want the writers to kill themselves trying to put out content.
Absolutely not. That would be the worst case scenario.
Um, so My Hero Academia didn't have a chapter this weekend, but does next weekend. JJK had one this weekend, but hasn't got one next weekend.
Yes. And the
Um,
one this weekend was fucking bonkers.
yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen has been insane.
Yeah.
The last few chapters. I guess the last thing we spoke about was them opening the prison realm.
Yeah. We've not really said anything since Gojo
Yeah,
came.
they opened the prison realm. Gojo appeared with Kenjaku, but then they were like, "Oh, we shouldn't fight right now. Let's pick a date." And he's like, I can't have two death anniversaries. I'm gonna kill you again on Christmas Eve, boy." Um,
Is he lying?
savage, right?
Yeah.
Then we have the chapter where it's like, oh, they're all kind of fighting and training with each other. Gojo's in special training, whatever that is, and then straight away, the end of that, they're all like kicking him on the back.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, I'm gonna give you a hug. Like, I can't give you a hug or anything because of your I forgot what it's called. He can't be touched, can he? Because he has like the
Oh
thing
yeah.
around him."
The void, the
Yeah.
infinite void.
So, but he lets it go just so they can all give him a tap on the back and be like, "Here comes our best fighter." Meanwhile, the lady's like, "Oh, I'm taking bets on this fight, and we're gonna televise it to everybody." It's like, great. Why not? Why not? Um, and then the next chapter, we're like thrown straight in. Gojo's badass, right?
The boss. Like, it's ridiculous.
Does the whole this massive shot across the freaking city. I don't know how many miles. I just
A
love
lot.
that both of them are like, "Oh, how, have you picked a time and place to meet?" Schooner's like, "No, I'll know when it happens." And then poof, just completely caught off guard. Massive hit. Oh, yeah, the fight started. Gojo comes into the ring and is just like, "Just so you know, mate, you're the challenger, because I'm the king.
Yeah.
Sukuna, mate, you're the challenger."
This is my ring here. We're on my turf now.
So like that was the best, just the most amazing like ending to a chapter. And then I feel like this most recent chapter, like keeps topping itself. You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, that's the most epic thing I've ever read," and then you read the next chapter. Yeah.
This last one, like again, much like with the recent My Hero Academia, this chapter will probably be about 30 seconds of an episode because it was just
The
here's a
best.
couple of lines of dialogue. Basically, it was like, "Oh, you're the challenger, Sukuna." Nuh-uh. 12 plus pages of just them hammering the shit out of each other, like bouncing off buildings. So much damage to the city, just like wrecking everything they get near. And it gets to the end, and he's just like, "I want to tell him you did that." And Sukuna's like, "They're filming this. Fuck,
Fuck. Yeah.
so good."
I love, yeah. So it starts and Sukuna's like, "But no, you're not the challenger. That doesn't count. You caught me off guard." Like, they're just like two buddies. They hate each other endlessly, but they're just buddies having fun because they're finally fighting someone that's kind of on their level. They've never
Yeah,
been, this is like
Charlie.
Saitama, right? Never been able to fight someone and enjoy it because they're just so much higher than everybody else. So they're having fun. They're throwing buildings at each other. There's the one really cool moment where Sukuna is like punching him as they're going through the building, and you see he's here, um, with his like energy, and then Gojo, whether he lets him break through and hit his hand so he can grab it, or whether Sukuna actually broke through his void, that's the question mark moment.
Yeah, that's the big
Yeah,
one.
because whether he's let him and he's going to keep doing that and get caught off guard at some point for being a bit too cocky, yeah, or whether Sukuna has actually managed to break through, it could spell major trouble for Gojo.
Yeah.
And then yeah, they come out of the buildings. And it's just the funniest moment with Gojo being like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna blame you for all this damage." Sukuna's like, "No, they'll never believe that." Like, he knows Gojo well enough, even though he doesn't. Yeah, they're never gonna believe that this was all me. And then Gojo's like, "Fuck, they're live broadcasting this. Shit." I just love the whole we're in this like big end fight. The action is insane. The fighting's insane. But there's still all this humor and fun stuff happening. Yeah, they haven't lost the goofiness because you were
Yeah.
kind of worried that Gojo's going to be really depressed and dark and just hate the fucking world and like come out of the prison realm. And but he's no
He's still Gojo.
unfazed. He's still Gojo.
Yeah.
The moment in when they started the fight and he like he's about to get him and he just falls on his back. Well, he like goes down onto the floor and then he just like poof and like Sukuna goes through the body. Yeah, just everything is just
Gojo.
yeah, classic Gojo. And
That,
yeah,
that reminds me. Not in this chapter, in the chapter before, when he was prepping his like first purple attack,
mm.
they were talking about how they were like all the people were doing all the different kind of meditations. Were they all channeling power into Gojo to make that fucking Kamehameha as strong as possible,
I
or
think
was
so.
like I didn't kind of feels like cheating if he's just got a bunch of mates all channeling power into him. Like use your own power, you got enough.
I wasn't
It's a
sure
one.
if
It's a 1v1, bitch. Don't be bringing support.
they only gave him a little head start. I don't think he needs that support. But
Clearly
yeah.
not.
The other moment was when that's of key importance in my brain, and is very interesting. Sukuna's like Sukuna and Kenjaku kind of counting on him on Gojo holding back because he's in Megumi's body.
Yeah.
And Gojo says, "I've been undergoing special training, or I've undergone special training, so that won't be an issue." And you think, oh, this is the training he's been doing recently. But then he says, no, because I've already killed this person. Because he looks so much like his dad, who he hates,
Yeah.
obviously, because he's the person that's come closest to killing Gojo, and he's killed him once already. It's like, his special training is like, you look close enough to that dickhead that I'm going to pummel you into the ground and not give a shit. And we're worried about bringing Megumi back to life after. Like, you know, there's nothing. Megumi's stuck. He's in a bad situation. And he's probably kind of like content if he dies, he's going to die. The world's going to
I'm
be
sure
okay.
Megumi would rather die and then possibly maybe come back later on
Yeah.
and be Sukuna and fucking murder the world. Like he's not going to want that on his conscience.
Yeah, the same way Yuji was like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, how many fingers does this version of Sukuna have? Has he eaten all 20?
No, he's one short, isn't he? So
Yeah.
he's one short. So in the very like first episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, Gojo says that he would be on par. He thinks that he's on par with Sukuna at full power. So this is him fighting Sukuna at full power -1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of the bad guys were talking about the fact that, oh yeah, this is another thing I found super cool that I've not thought about. They all think that Gojo has the last finger and that he's been holding on to it since the beginning so that the higher ups would never be able to kill Yuji. Because they agreed, he made them agree that they will only kill him when there's so that Sukuna cannot come back ever. He'll be executed and that's Sukuna dead. But they can't execute him if Gojo keeps the last finger hidden for all of eternity. So by hiding that last finger, he's saving Yuji's life. So Sukuna and like Kenjaku think that. So I don't know if they're gonna try and where is the last finger? Can they get it? What's gonna happen? Or is Gojo gonna do a Goku?
Yeah,
and be like
exactly what I was just thinking.
I can see you thinking it. Do you know what? It's not fair that I'm not fighting you at full power. We both need to be at full power for me to know whether I'm actually the strongest. Gojo wants to know whether he is the strongest, right? Because he says I'm the strongest. He can't really know he's the strongest until he gives Sukuna that last finger and actually fights in full power. Throw that senzu bean at Cell and have a good old last fight.
And I don't know why I can just see Gojo kind of winning round one, being like, "Oh, that wasn't very fun. Here, have the last one."
Yeah, do you
Have
want this?
There we go. Now let's fight properly, and then losing, and then fucking Yuji will pull some dumb shit and save the world because he's Yuji.
Because he's Yuji, yeah.
Or maybe Megumi will then be like, "Or not, and like break out from inside.
All shall become clear. I think the chapters are like so good that they're good enough to like hold you over for a week or two.
Oh yeah.
They're like such good chapters. It's like I don't mind waiting because this stuff is like the best stuff I've ever read. Oh come on, this is so
From this
good.
yeah, fuck yeah, it's phenomenal. But I'm not sure I can quite say it's the best I've ever read. There's some
You've
good
read a
shit.
lot more than I have.
Fucking 20th Century Boys, the goat.
But yeah, it's good to see because like some things kind of like lose their just kind of like lose their way. But
Oh
Jujutsu
yeah,
Kaisen's just going from strength to strength,
yeah.
and it's like the pacing of it's great. There's not a lot of filler. It's just
Done.
this
Yeah.
is happening. This is the end fight. We're not going to pull away from this at all. This is happening. We're nearing the end.
Yeah, this is all there is to concentrate on right now. Just watch the fucking chaos ensue. Get her done.
Get her done. But yeah, so
Awesome. But yeah, speaking of series that dropped off massively, and manga. Been rereading Food Wars. I'd forgotten how fucking great the early arcs are. The last arc is fucking awful. But the same creative team have a new series that's running right now called Tenmaku Cinema. Really fucking good. And because they've avoided the pitfall that they fell into with Food Wars, this one will hopefully be really good all the way through the run. Plus, just from the way it's kind of set up and the story they're trying to tell, I'm guessing it's not going to run for a particularly long time. Like, I could see them probably wrapping this up in like 100 chapters or less. Like, I can't see it running for that long, but I strongly recommend. Like, if you like movies, watch this. If you like just great fucking art and strong characters, read it. Get on it.
you've been told.
Yes. And fucking Sakamoto Days. Holy shit. So good. If you like the art style for JJK and the way he captures like speed in the fights, Sakamoto Days, very similar art style, very similar fight scenes, but not much more grounded. It's still fucking insane. But they're just people, but they're like Captain America level ridiculous super assassins.
Oh, okay.
And he's really fat, so it's funny.
It's on my list, yeah. Sakamoto Days, Undead Unluck, yeah.
Yep.
And then I still need to carry on reading One Punch Man.
I think a new chapter of that just either that or
Chainsaw Man was out today.
oh yeah. I didn't read it, but
Something Man was out today.
well, it's just one of the non-Sunday night series. It's Chainsaw. Like pretty much everything I read comes out on a Sunday night. New Spy Family chapter, quality shit.
Yeah, see, I'm not reading that either. I feel like I enjoy the anime enough to just wait and watch it.
That's fair.
Because it's not something that's like, oh, I must watch the next. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel cliffhangery enough that I'm like, oh, I must find out what's happening. It's just my like fun anime to watch.
Fair. But yeah, of the sort of the Sunday night shows, and then they've got the two that there's Chainsaw Man, One Punch Man, and Kaiju number 8 that seem to just drop at random points, but they're all really fucking good. And I'm like, Kaiju number 8's getting a anime, I think, next year.
Okay.
Undead Unluck's getting one, I think, by the end of this year. And they haven't announced one for Sakamoto Days. And it's worrying me because I'm pretty sure we've just finished the flashback arc that is like the filler before the actual final arc begins. So I'm like, it won't finish this year, but it'll probably finish early next year. And they haven't announced. That's usually when they announce the anime, and they haven't yet. So I'm getting worried because I don't think it's that popular, but it is that fucking good. Worrying.
I feel like oh, the other thing we said about rewatching, well, I haven't watched it before actually, was Soul Eater.
Yeah. Once the entire Fire Force series drops, I kind of want to watch all of Fire Force and then all of Soul Eater.
Yeah, because spoiler, but not spoiler, kind of spoiler, is that yeah, Fire Force is like a prequel to Soul Eater, but because it's the same studio, the same animation style, you kind of just like, oh yeah, Then the end of the second season, you're like, oh, that's this. They show like the Soul Eater moon, and you're like, huh? But yeah, I remember trying to watch Soul Eater when it was out and being like, I like it. They didn't like grab me.
Yeah.
Then I was probably, I was younger, so I should try again.
And if you go into it from Fire Force, so it kind of all flows like
Mm,
potentially one big story, that may help.
but I really enjoyed Fire Force season 2. It was just very, I mean, it was faster paced than the first one, and it opened up a lot more like storylines and character stuff. Um,
Always a plus.
Always a plus. The thing that trends on the internet with Fire Force is the sounds. So the sound effects of when they use their powers. It's like crunchy. How do I describe this? Like when they like punch and they use their fire to like punch and it like breaks. It's like breaking the sound barrier. It's like a speaker just like rumbling. You know when you play a really really low tone, it's just like crunchy, like. But I can't imitate this noise. But it's like a crunch and a break and a like breaking the sound barrier. Yeah, everyone's like, I think there's like TikToks and things that are like, oh, this is the best sound ever, and then it's like, no, this is, and it does like the fire. I saw someone post this earlier, like the Fire Force noises, and I'm like, yeah, the Fire Force sound effects are next level, and the opening themes are
Hey,
great as well.
I've seen a lot of shows commended for their animation, and a lot of shows commended for the story, the characters, the power systems of the world. I think that is possibly the first time someone has said, "Oh no, no, you have to watch this series." There's really great sound effects. The
Honestly,
swamp warp quality.
when you watch it, you'll know. You'll be like, fuck, she was right. Best sound ever.
Is it better than the that Transformers make when they transform?
Yeah, way more enjoyable. 100%.
It's a
Are you going?
bold claim.
You're going to see the new Transformers Gorillas movie? No.
No. Although Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal is quality casting.
Mm,
So maybe I'll see it for my boy Ron. But I'm not going to see it in the cinema.
no.
I'll wait till it's fucking £2 on Amazon.
um. Yeah, the Fire Force opening and endings are really good. The first one, I think that's what grabbed me first of all. I was like, man, this is the best opening ever made. The song and the yeah, literally the song and the animation and everything. Yeah,
Is it as good as Lost in Paradise?
First of all, Lost in Paradise is a closer, and second of all, Lost in Paradise is one of my favorite songs of all time. But it's super chill, jazzy vibes. You know, the
Yeah.
opening to Fire Force is "Get Pumped." This is sick, like just
Okay.
fantastic. Yeah, it's a hype one, and then the second like part of the first season had a I can't remember if that's the heavy metal one. There is a heavy one, and it is just the absolute best. I When it comes on my playlist, I'm like, love this one. It's like, it's so good.
It's hype mix.
So good. Um, the other ones are good as well, but yeah, those two are the standout. They're like really heavy one. I can't remember if it is from the second half of the first season or whether it's from season 2. And then the very first one. It's just, yeah. It's kind of like the level of like Mob Psycho has like 3 fantastic openings. They're all amazing.
Yeah.
Super, super strong. Um yeah.
I
Love it.
miss Mob Psycho.
Mob, mob, mob. Yeah.
Great show.
So good. Yeah, that last opening was fantastic. That song again comes on the playlist and I'm just like, and then filtered in between lots and lots of Attack on Titan. That's just, I'm here for it, but sometimes I'm just like skip, 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 because they're like the actual openings and they're just very like, I don't know. It's not just like chill
Yeah,
or get
I mean,
psyched. It's let's go
I
to war music.
yeah, I mean, I only watched the first season of AOT, but I seem to recall the intro music was like it was in German or something. It was this real like we're
Yeah,
off to oppress the masses. Like,
because it's Linked Horizon, which I think they're a German band,
yeah,
and it's like they're good, they're great, but it's not just like your everyday listening music.
no,
But the last two like openings that come out, like the Rumbling, which is like heavier, fantastic. What I don't understand is they've shortened it so much for the opening that the very next like verse and then the like bridge part, the lyrics in it really key into what's happening. So you don't listen to the full. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like the full
yeah,
version, I would have really liked a full version and like a longer opening. Because you don't listen to the full version, you don't get the like, oh, this song really fits. I
yeah,
mean, the first bit fits and it has got a little
yeah.
bit, but the song really is like a telling of what's happening.
Mainly
Um,
spoil.
not a spoiler, but
Yeah, I'm messing with you. It's fine.
yeah, a little bit.
But I do. I probably should give Attack on Titan a second shot because, like, it is just one of those cultural fucking juggernauts. Like, it's
How much did you watch? Just like the first few
the
episodes,
entire
or
first season.
the first season?
Everything up to the reveal of who the Colossal and Armored Titans really are.
Oh, okay, that moment.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, I love it. I will rewatch that
I
all the
just got
time.
it was back when I was watching it like weekly, and it's just there was like 4 to 6 weeks of just a lot of running around in the forest and screaming and getting eaten. I was like, I just don't really care. Like, I want something that isn't just swinging from the trees, dodging titans.
Right, yeah.
More.
I'm a little worried because my Wi-Fi just went, but we're still talking to each other and I'm very confused. Oh, we must be Etherneted in. It's fine. Not a problem. We must be plugged in. I don't know. Sean sets up all the tech, so I'm like, my phone and my laptop's just died, but we're still going.
Or are we?
Or are we? Yeah, yeah. The live thing's still going. Don't
Yeah.
you worry. We're still here. Hopefully.
And I'm literally talking. We wouldn't
Yeah,
be able to
we're
be talking
talking.
if your
No,
Wi-Fi
but I
had
mean
gone
the
out.
live stream's going as well. Yeah, we're on the same thing. It's happening. Yeah, yeah. That's what my brain was like. Of course, you wouldn't still be here.
Nah,
Magic, technology.
not just a
um,
face that lives on your computer screen. I'm an actual person, a
it's just
relatively
magic.
simple life. Yeah.
Was we still talking about Attack on Titan before I got distracted by
Yes.
being stupid? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I love it. A lot of people fall out when it's like, oh, all the stuff with like the female Titan is long, and then there's I don't know.
All
I
the
really
parents
enjoy
walk
all of
around.
it. And then obviously as you get later on, it's like, oh, this is just not really about Titans anymore. It's just about war with humans, and you're like, but it's good. I love it. It's great. I'll sit and rewatch it. And it's got
So maybe
Levi.
like I would say when there's not a if at some point in the future we have an off season where there's a whole sort of 4 months, whatever it is, when there's no show that we're either really excited about, when that happens, we can do an AOT rewatch and just discuss that on the stream instead.
Yeah, I feel like it's not going to happen until
No, there's a
the end
lot
of
of good
this year.
shit coming
Yeah,
out.
and by that point, the final season would have come out, and you'd be able to watch it from start to finish,
Yeah,
to actual finish.
there's fucking one episode every 6 months and then wait like a punk.
See, I don't know if they've released like how long or what this final part's going to be, but it can only be like an hour long special. There is literally no more than that. It's impossible to stretch it. So an hour long special, I'm happy with. Not that there's really not a lot to happen. There is not a lot to go on. But it'll be good. Just to see it animated finally.
Endgame, it ain't.
But yeah, I feel like that's everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
That's everything that I made notes about. But I do have a terrible memory, so you know what, loads of stuff that could have happened, and I just forgotten it. But I feel like that's everything. I'm still watching Dragon Ball Super again, and I'm still watching Dexter, and yeah,
Watched the end of Marvelous Miss Maisel, which was happy and sad. Sad because it was over, happy
yeah.
because it ended really well. Sakamoto Days is killing it. Undead Unluck is killing it. Kaiju's killing it. Uh, One Piece is fucking killing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's so good. Like, I have a distinct suspicion that it's building up to some real fucky stuff, and I can't wait because Oda is such a goddamn troll.
Hmm.
Some good shit is coming.
I
It's been a
went.
good 6 months since he last broke the internet, so.
I forgot. I went to Comic Con.
Oh, yeah.
I
How
went
was
to
that?
London Comic Con. It was filled with disappointment. The last time I went must have been like 10 years ago, and I remember going and being like, it's really overcrowded, and there's not really much good here. I'm not gonna come again, and I didn't. But then this week I was like, oh, I'm free on Sunday. Oh, it's Comic Con. Let's just go. And I asked a friend, and he said yes. If he'd said no, I wouldn't have been bothered. But we went, and there was just nothing there. It was just only stall. Like, I was going primarily to buy stuff if I saw anything of interest that I haven't seen online and don't have already. Just, on the off chance that you find something kind of obscure or.
Yeah, you never know what
Yeah.
wonders you'll find tucked away on some dodgy little stall.
So, yeah, but it was literally, there was just nothing else to do. I feel like it used to be a lot more game demos set up, and just here's an area with Guitar Hero, and here's an area with other rhythm
Literally
games, and
anything
just,
to do.
yeah, just stuff, just lots of stuff, and a lot of exhibitors, just big banners for new games and stuff that's coming and whatever else, the cars from movies and films, and like all they had there was like they had an angel and some Daleks and stuff. They had a little Star Wars like exhibit bit. The guests, even the guest area was not like this big thing. They had like the voice of Misty and Brock. Oh, who does Brock do the voice of as well? Kaiba. Yeah. It's all, yeah, like Pokemon and stuff.
Don't you?
And then it was literally the only other thing to do is go around all these stalls. So that's what everybody was doing. So it's really difficult to move. Everything you want to looked at was hard because there's just loads of people just stopping in the middle of walkways, and groups moving into a big open space where you're about to walk and just stopping so you can't get anywhere. And I find that very frustrating. So it's just
Like,
lots of anger.
I often find that the idea of going to Comic Con is better than actually going to
Yes.
Comic Con. Like I haven't been that many times because I hate people, but on the occasions I've gone, except the time I met Amara's Reva, it's just always been a bit disappointing.
Yeah. I bought a couple like art prints that were interesting looking, that weren't just like these are just photos off the internet put on a canvas or whatever, and we're charging 30 quid for them. Actual nice art prints that look like real watercolors. They're like old so I got my brother one. It's like an old Japanese looking but alien. So it's
Oh,
that like the xenomorph, and then like Ripley with the cat, and she's got a bow and arrow and a lantern. It's like, yeah, so it's like old school
that's cool.
Japanese
Yeah, I
samurai.
like
Yeah,
that. I would probably have picked that up if I'd been there.
it's really cool. And then I got two Spirited Away ones, which are just kind of same artworky style, but obviously it's already just Japanese looking, so there's not really anything different about it. But really, really nice. One of like Haku the dragon, just like this. And then like the bathhouse and the street and the bridge. Yeah, so that was cool. And then I got a couple pin badges. Got like a Gojo pin badge and a Calcifer one. And then I only found one stall that was kind of interesting because they had old Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, like
Oh,
older, rarer, kind of like this is Scarecrow, like Jack from the beginning of the movie, and I've got some other like older stuff from like the 90s when it come out. But I was thinking to myself, the lady was like, and they had a couple of James and the Giant Peach things, because I've got a pirate Jack skeleton from James and the Giant Peach, because he's in that when they go like under the water to the pirate ship. It's Jack skeleton.
I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, because it's Tim Burton, so that's really cool. But they didn't have them turned where I could see them, and they were like £200, and I'm like,
Fuck that.
she gave me a card. She gave me a card for a website. She was like, "Oh, all this stuff is like at least 15 years old," and I'm thinking, yeah, actually, even all the stuff that I bought new from Disney Store when the resurgence and it became popular is like 15 years old, because it was when I was like
Year
15.
old.
That's when like the resurgence happened, and everybody I knew started loving Nightmare Before Christmas, even though they hadn't like grown up with the movie like I did in my family. um but that's when you were actually able to go out and buy like products en masse. Before that, there was just this like one store that sold Night Before Christmas stuff nearby where we lived. um But yeah, I was like, I have so much Night Before Christmas stuff, and I'm like, I will not buy more. But when you find like unique stuff like that, that's not,
Yeah.
because I don't buy anything now that's just, again, mass produced stuff from the Disney store. I don't really buy it.
Point.
Yeah, like I've got this. This is a cookie jar that a friend bought me. Again, probably it might be for my like 18th birthday, so we're talking like 13 years ago. But every cookie jar from that year that they release is like naff. Just does not look as good. It's just not as good.
It's a good jar, to be fair.
Oh, and I bought this figure when I went to Brighton, maybe Brighton, somewhere I went. Because again, I'd just not seen it anywhere. It's like him on the casino machine, like the slot machine, and the bit like Oogie Boogie. Anyway, and then this
Is
is
that, if we go the other side, is that Death of the Endless next to him?
is that who? On
Death of
which?
the Endless.
This?
Yeah.
No, this is a pop figurine. This is
Yeah, I know, but is it of Death?
no, it's Mikasa from Attack on Titan.
Okay.
This is Mikasa.
I just saw black hair and sort of pale skin. I thought
No,
it was
yeah, sorry. But this figure's like got 12 different interchangeable heads for
God,
Jack Skellington. It's sick. Um,
a lot of head.
and we got but yeah, and then new anime figures I've had recently. I got my sit down Gojo. Not that anyone can see this in great detail. What else did I get? No, these I think they're all behind me. I got this Hawks figurine. He's really cool. He's got wings because it's Hawks. You don't have wings no more. Anyway.
No. R.I.P. Hawks' wings.
Yeah, and this is her name? I don't want to say her name's Maki because I feel like it's similar. From Fire Force. She's got a little fire thing. That's a pop as well. Oh, and then not in this room is the giant Goku Black pop that I bought that is literally like this big.
I didn't know they came that big. That's insane.
It's not even giant, it's jumbo, so it's actually slightly bigger than one you can get than the usual big ones. It's like jumbo. I bought a mini one for my back and I put it in my backpack, and that's where he lives. And I kept looking at him every day like, I'm gonna go buy that giant one. Because I thought that buying the mini one would stop me from buying the giant one. Because I don't even really like pop figurines. I just usually buy them if I can't get anything else of goodness from that character. But I ended up going because my mum's like, just get him. He's really good. Get it. He's got a lot of pink hair.
Quite sad. When I got back into My Hero and sort of like got up to date and was really digging out, I really wanted a Kirishima, not a pop, but like a Kirishima figure.
Yeah.
And there just aren't any. It's kind of sad. They're all like, it's all a bit shit.
I've got the first one, which is like it's very old. Here he is. That's one of the first. Do you want me to get him closer?
No, that was one of the only ones I saw that was like
Yeah.
decent, but the rest were all just like really small and shit. I
Mm.
wanted things. I wanted one of him using Unbreakable, where he's like all rocked up.
Oh yeah, no, you can't get
But they
that.
just don't do that because they suck. They want to see their fucking abs.
You can yeah, that's one of the first ones I bought. I bought that. I bought my Eraserhead, which is in the living room because he's my favorite, and I bought Shigaraki, that one with all the hands. Yeah, Eraserhead I think was my absolute first, and it's the best. And then they've made like a couple redos of the same figure, like since then because it's old now, really old now. My Hero Academia is even old. That's how old we are. And then yeah, because in the living room I've got like my Hero Academia manga, and then next to it on a shelf I've got my Vigilantes. So in front of Vigilantes I've got my actual Aizawa figurine, and then my Aizawa and Mike pops. And then in front of my manga I've got all my other pops. I've got like an All Might. It's like All Might when he's in his small form, like this. All Might. Uh, Shinso. I can't even remember what I own. There's like a whole row of them.
On Overwatch, they did a bunch of One Punch Man crossovers.
Oh, really?
And there's one character who's this like skinny little dude, but then he can activate this sort of short term buff he's got, and he becomes this massive like hulking monster guy. I was like, they absolutely have to do a My Hero crossover where in his little form, he's little All Might, and then he go big
Bulks
form and
up.
go to the muscle form. It was so fucking good, but they aren't doing it because they're cowards.
Talking of bulking up into a muscle form, did you watch the Mario movie?
Nah,
Oh, it's on like streaming now, isn't it?
is it? Which one?
I don't know.
All of them?
Maybe. But I saw
Okay,
an
I'll look.
advert saying like May half term, take your kids to go see Mario, and I'm like, did you not just put it on a streaming service? And also, most parents are probably taking their kids already. Who's going to see Mario in the half term?
No
Maybe
one.
lots of people. I don't know.
Who knows? All I know is that on the 7th, I believe Avatar 2 is dropping on Disney Plus,
I probably still
and
won't
The
watch it.
Whale is on Prime now. So I want to watch that because
Sean just watched it without me, like he does with all the films I want to watch.
what a dick.
But he said that he'll watch it again,
What,
so it was good.
yeah, I was gonna say how was it, but if he's willing to watch it again, it
Yeah.
can't be bad. Okay, good. I'll let you know what I think of that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll get around to watching it at some point. But
I kind of want to watch Avatar 2, but just so I can say that I have, so that I can rip on it and from a position of strength. But like my TV is so fucking shit.
mm.
It's not gonna work seeing it in 2D on my little postage stamp TV.
I feel like it's the kind of film that I would just end up watching with my mum. But I feel like I spoke to my mum about it, and even she was, not really bothered. Probably won't
Even
watch
too
that.
shit for her.
It's been so long since the first one. Even the first one, she was like, it was okay.
Yeah.
I just literally have no. I have
I don't want to
absolutely
see
no
it just so I
incentive to
can say
watch
that
it.
I've seen it, but I'm not particularly excited for it. I am very excited for The Whale because I love a bit of Aronofsky.
And Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, the Renaissance is here. He's in something else as well coming up soon that looks really good.
Hmm.
It's gone.
We'll just watch The Mummy instead.
Yeah, fuck yeah, great flick.
I can't remember what I was watching, and I feel like we was watching it, and then we referenced something from The Mummy, and then someone in it was like, said, goodbye, Benny. And I was like, when he does at the end, then he's like, bye, Benny. Yeah, I can't remember what it was now. Maybe it was Dexter. I don't know. I'm like, I haven't watched anything else, I'm sure. It's just been, yeah. And this season of Dexter feels really long. It's the Trinity Killer season. And I'm like, oh, shit's going to go down soon. And I'm like, oh, no, we got like a whole half season left where stuff actually happens. And like, yeah. I'm like, it's only just hit that midway point. Not used to watching these 24 episode, 40-minute episodes or like hour long episodes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm still fucking struggling my way through Lost. I'm on the final season now, so there's not long to go. But while I have spoken in the past about my appreciation for the 22 episode, like serialized 40-minute television, it does lead to some shit. Like when it's good, but when it's not, it's lost.
Mm.
Fuck. I just don't care about fucking Jack and Kate and Sawyer's love triangle bullshit. No one cares. She's fucking Charlie this whole time. You two fucking muscleheads don't have a clue.
No.
But yeah, it's still got Ben Linus, who is the fucking man. So such a good act. I've forgotten his actual name. Michael Emerson.
I don't think I'm ever going to watch Lost from start to finish.
Don't. It's not worth it.
Like, seeing the first season on Sky when it originally broadcasted was like, yeah, this is and again, that was back in like a time when that would have been the only good show around, like the only good new show to watch, so everybody would just
That was
watch it.
the show.
Yeah.
There were two kinds of people: those that watched Lost and those that didn't have anything to talk about.
But there's
They
just
really went in with Lost. I remember after the first, like during even I was watching on fucking Channel 4 like 6 months after the
yeah,
fact.
yeah,
Fuck Sky. Even then, when it aired in the first ad break, there was an ad for the Dharma Initiative with a fucking number you could call, and there was like a pre-recorded message. There was a whole like AR game thing
yeah.
going on around. I don't understand how it's 20 fucking 23.
They don't
Like
do
we can
that
have
anymore.
interactive television like Bandersnatch. Why do they not lean into the AR angle more? Like we have fucking Pokemon Go where we can, hold our phone over a tree and catch a fucking Pikachu. Why are we not using that for something good? Like AR games, motherfucker. It's the future. Get her done.
Get her done. Yeah, I feel like interactive stuff in TV shows doesn't happen anymore. Like I know when How I Met Your Mother was on, they'd always put real phone numbers on. Like Barney Stinson, I think there's an episode where Barney Stinson like hold his number up at like a football game or something, and you could call that if you're in America, you could call that number, and it'd actually go to an answer phone. I think you could leave a message, but they
They
would
did
actually get back to people
that's
or something. There was something, yeah. And then they had like all the websites with the countdown to like the slap and other things, like all these websites and everything they mentioned in How I Met Your Mother was real. It was online or it was a real phone number. Yeah.
they did that with She-Hulk. The
Oh,
posters had
okay.
Jen Walters like the number to call her lawyer office.
Mm.
You could call that and you'd get like it was just a pre-recorded message like where it was just hi, I'm Jen Walters. If you want to be a new client, leave a message. Like there was no real interaction with it, but it was still a nice touch.
Mm.
Or like in Moon Knight, where there was QR codes dotted throughout the series, and if you scanned them, it would be a free comic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like the first appearance of Moon Knight, first appearance of Werewolf by Night.
Mm.
Like, it was like various kind of important issues throughout Moon Knight's history. They kind of missed the plot there. Personally, I was when I realized that's what they were doing. I thought that the last episode, there'd be a QR code, you could scan it, and it would be the first issue of the current Moon Knight run to get people to start reading the comics that are
Yeah.
coming and make some money. But no, they didn't bother because they're twats
Speaking of Disney,
and
they have
twats.
taken loads and loads of their own made content off of their own service.
Yeah, apparently
Which,
Willow is no longer there,
yeah,
which is I actually quite enjoyed that show. I was
I,
the only person that liked it, but yeah.
I just don't understand unless you've got like you're running out of server space or something. Why would you take it off your own service? I guess to veer people to watch what you want them to watch.
Apparently it's a tax write-off.
Oh really?
Yeah, because HBO did the same thing last year. They dropped a bunch of stuff off HBO Max, and everyone was up in arms about it because it's fucking ridiculous. Apparently, it was some big tax loophole or some bullshit.
This is the problem with like if you can't buy those things on DVD release, that just doesn't exist anymore. You
Yeah,
can
as
download it
far as the
on
world is concerned, Willow is no longer a
just
TV series.
doesn't exist. I'm sure you can get dodgy downloads of it wherever you want, but you just yeah, gone.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Because I follow Zach Braff, who did like a new Cheaper by the Dozen movie. It wasn't great, but that also got removed. I watched it, but like
Of course it is.
gone now. As is lots of other stuff that I'm probably not aware of, but
Well, it was like 40 plus shows and movies were removed.
hmm,
That's apparently most. World according to Jeff Goldblum, gone.
gone.
No one cares about Jeff Goldblum anymore, which is probably good. He was kind of weird, strange guy.
But they have the Spider-Man movies now, or was it just the first one? They have all the Spider-Man movies.
Have all three
Tobey
Maguire
Maguire,
films, the two Garfield films, and the first two Tom Holland, but
right?
not Spider Verse. Not No Way
No Way
Home,
Home,
which is the only one I would rewatch.
and then yeah, no, it's just weird.
Yeah, it's a
Taxes.
very strange time for kind of entertainment between the writers' strike, the rise of AI. It's just not really sure where we're going to be in like 4 or 5 years.
Oh, I know what I haven't finished watching. Star Wars Visions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the first
Did you see the Aardman one?
yeah,
Good.
I
That's the
really,
only one I'm watching.
I liked them. The first one was like the artworky one that was all like white, and then the dark side was coming, and then it's like, oh, you can actually use both these sides blended together and be a nice, well-rounded human being slash
Yeah.
Jedi Sith instead of having to be one or the other, which is what I like about like Rey's story. So I liked that. The whole I'm gonna put my lightsaber down here and then get on this thing and head out. You're probably gonna need that. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Anyway,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed it. It was nice. Then the next one was I don't know if I'm. I really liked the horror-y one where they go out to the mountain or the cave. I've forgotten what it's called now.
Oh,
Something
with the
Peak.
mine,
Yeah, they go
and
out.
there was the voice in the mine.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
witchy
Yeah.
Sith. Really cool. Really liked that. And love that it was like, again, calling back, I feel, to like Kylo and how he had, a Sith's voice in his head and being brainwashed to go to that side. And that was a trial for that kid to get a better life. So the Sith just all over just preying on all these unsuspecting people to join the dark side. Really interesting. It's cool, quite horror vibe. Just yeah, I liked it. Um, then the stop motiony one that wasn't the Aardman with like the water and the stars. It's the sisters.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
really
yeah.
liked that as well. You not like that?
Here's my thing. Aesthetically, all the
Lovely.
episodes were great.
Yeah,
My problem was they were literally all the same story.
yeah.
It was literally just the same basic outline with a couple of usually very small tweaks 8 times.
Mm.
Like, where's the fucking originality? Where's the universe? Where's the vision? It's called Star Wars Visions. It's meant to be little glimpses into parts of the universe we've not seen. It's not meant to be the same fucking story 8 times.
Well,
It's boring.
I only watched
Piety.
that, and then I watched the Arban one. I don't think I watched anything past that, or did I watch another
If you watch one, you watch them all.
one? But yeah, the Arban one was funny. It was nice to see. Oh, it's like Star Wars, but with some British humor and just yeah.
It was painfully, achingly British.
I love because when it's I am your mother, you're like, oh, it's just a funny thing. It's gonna be like it's gonna have that I am your mother moment. It's like, no, but it's not. It's like, I am your mother, and I was like, brilliant, I love that.
Yeah.
Really well done.
They did not try to sort of emulate, and it was like, I'm your mum, stop being a dick. Perfect. Love it.
Yeah, really nice episode. Now the like bad people that are just twats, rich snobby twats, and then yeah, really well done. Looked lovely. Looked
Yeah.
lovely.
Classic Oddman.
Classic Aardman. Yeah, again, I haven't watched the others, but you're saying I don't need to, so it's fine. But yeah, no, I enjoyed them, but not as. I mean, I didn't like all of the ones from the last season.
No.
The samurai one was the standout, um, for the art style and the story and the badassery.
It was
Just
across the
across
board.
the board, yeah.
The super anime one with the two twins fighting.
The
Was great.
twins, yeah, that was good. That was Trigger, and then I
The
quite liked
one
the one where they
with,
got lured to the cave and it was kind of like a trap, yeah.
with the saber
The
crafter's
sabers,
daughter.
yeah.
That one was great.
I feel like they're the only ones I can remember because they're the only ones that I enjoyed. And the others I
Then there
just
was
kind
the
of
one with
sat
the
through.
band that was terrible.
Literally,
It was very forgettable. So
yeah, I literally can't even remember the others.
those are the top three. So yeah, you're good.
But I thought that they would take, I don't know, take one of those ideas like the badass Japanese black and white one and make a series, even a mini series, like a 6 episode little mini series, would be cool instead of keep pushing out garbage Boba Fett and Mandalorian.
God, man, that was so bad.
So bad.
Put me to sleep just fucking thinking about it.
And then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make more movies with Ray and the continuation of that story. It's gonna have." Then they just confirm Mark Hamill and Hayden Christensen. I'm like, how is this all working? What's going
It's
on
not.
here? Yeah, just need to focus on one good thing. Just not putting out so much content that they're just going to end up saying, well, that was shit, let's delete it off our service. But yeah.
Oy. Strange times.
Strange times. But as always, anime is king, and
Yep.
You're probably hungry.
Fucking starving.
But yeah, we'll wrap it up. We've kind of gone out of our 2 weekly schedule. So if we come back next week, we'll have like a shorter stream, or I don't know, if we can think of something maybe possibly a little random to just discuss. I don't know.
We'll find something.
We'll find something that we're going to discuss, and then that'll put us back to our regular. I mean, we'll have a new chapter of My Hero Academia and new episodes of stuff anyway by next week. So we'll have stuff to talk about, and then whatever else. But yes.
I'll probably have finished Ranking of Kings by that point.
Oh,
So.
yay.
It's quite long, isn't it?
It is like 22, 24, yeah. But it's just, I just feel like you get to the end of the episode and you're just. So I watched it week by week. You've got if I'd watched it, if it was all available like a Netflix show, I would have like binged the shit out of that show. But yeah, enjoy that anyway, and yeah, we can discuss how good of an anime that is. But yeah, anyway.
And then it's on to slime.
Yeah, slime.
I'm gonna go and eat ramen because, if you haven't already guessed, I'm a weeb. And I've already basically got it made. Soup's made. I've just got to boil the noodles and I'm good.
You're all good. Cool.
Gonna watch MasterChef and eat ramen and peace.
Bye.